All right. What is up, everybody? It's Tuesday night, 7 o'clock, or 7-ish. But you already know where you need to be. It's the Big Three podcast with my boys Dylan and Jordan. How you guys doing?
Doing good. It's an exciting week we had. It's an exciting episode prepared. We were talking beforehand. We got a lot of stuff to talk about. A lot of stuff happened since the last episode.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm doing good over here too, man. Just I don't know about my energy tonight. I'm just tired, man. School, bro, but I'm all good, man. I got a few more weeks left of school, grinding down to the last couple of weeks. We're getting finals coming up, so kind of exhausted. But I guess y'all are gonna make this a good show, man. Let's go, man.
Yeah, because like Dylan said, a lot's gone on since the hot stove in the MLB kind of weak. We got some rumors and some signings we got to talk about. The NBA, some interesting things happening there. Jordan's Lakers looking good.
Sure.
Celtics is still best team in the East. So I'm
AD.
saying the NBA as well.
AD MVP, baby.
All right. Okay.
I think I'm crazy there.
You threw it out there. If you want to bring that to the show, all right. Okay.
I'm crazy.
But that is something that's going around the NBA. It's talk of how should we actually view this MVP conversation, because there's a lot of guys playing really well right now. I think the NBA is in a great spot where, superstars are like legitimately putting themselves out there with really good performances.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, we got NFL stuff, coming down to the end of it at this point, players right there. We got a couple of injuries. We have a
couple signings.
Yeah. So we'll definitely get into that. And then got to talk college football with the playoff and all that. Heisman Trophy nominees and all that. So
y'all can take that. Y'all can take that debate. I'm out of it. I'm out of it. Just like Alabama's out. So.
Hey, we gotta talk about it. I know it hurts for. You're not the only Bama fan out there, so maybe we can help you out a little bit.
I'm an OU fan. We had like six wins. We still got a bowl game against Florida State though, ranked 13. Don't know how we did it.
Other than Justin Bennett, I don't really agree with. Who's the other quarter? It was Duggar. It was Duggar, right?
Duggar, Stroud, Caleb Williams, and then Blake Corum.
Yeah. The Bryce Young, did he win a Heisman or no? Not yet.
Yeah, he won last.
Yeah, so he don't need to get one. And shit. Can they win twice?
He got one. Yeah, they can. Yeah. It's rare.
Yeah,
but
that's what I thought. Like he did get one. I do remember. Like, I just didn't know if they could win it twice. But maybe that's why he wasn't really in the conversation.
No, it's because he was injured, partly. Really.
We can get into that. I was kind of like when I saw this, I was like kind of confused.
Mm-hmm.
Like the 4 or 3. Yeah. I know Stetson Bennett, Georgia. He deserved that number 1 spot.
The best team in the country. You got to throw somebody on there. And normally, you always look to the quarterback, so that makes sense. But yeah, like you said, we'll get into all the college football stuff later on.
Oh man, I can't wait, man.
But let's start MLB. The rumors are out there. We gotta start with Aaron Judge, because that's clearly
Well, let's start with like the other signings. I know Verlander got signed. Verlander got because Verlander. I guess we talk about the players who got signed. We got Trey Turner. I know Key is very happy about that. 11 year, $300 million, I think.
Yep.
So,
which grand scheme of things doesn't seem that bad.
It doesn't seem that bad. Didn't Machado did get 14 years or something like that? So that's I think 14 or something like that. But yeah, the partnering of Trey Turner and Bryce Harper again, like they were in DC. That's another dynamic duo. And Verlander to the Mets. I heard the Yankees were kind of like a couple numbers off from signing him, but he's like 39, 38. He's going to throw at age. I know he can still throw the ball really well.
Still pitch, though.
I know. I just didn't. The Mets. The Grom left with the Texas, so they need that hole to fill. But like any other signings, Trey Turner, I know Verlander. Any other big signings?
Edwin Diaz re-signed.
Yeah.
Edwin Diaz, okay. I know Yankees did sign a reliever.
Josh Bell's in Cleveland.
Kershaw signed with not Kershaw. Different Dodgers player, Bellinger. He signed with the Cubs.
Didn't. Oh yeah, because the Cubs.
Yeah, Kershaw re-signed.
Yeah.
I was thinking other Dodgers player, but I guess Toronto was really close to Bellinger. I guess they were like around in the 20 million range, and Bellinger got 17.5 from the Cubs. So I'm not sure what that's all about. I'm not sure. Maybe he just didn't want to be in Toronto.
Maybe. What's going on, Dante? Appreciate you tuning in. So like I said, when the winter meeting started up, we're going to start getting some of these signings to come through. And I even read somewhere that, Judge could sign in the next day or so. And we know that once that happens, then even more signings will start to continue. But if he's not the only one that people are looking at because, Bogarts, there's been some talks about him. I think he's supposed to be with the Padres apparently. And they're saying like he's like severed ties with the Red Sox or whatever. I don't believe that. Because if the Red Sox came back with a contract offer that was more than the Padres or whoever could offer him, I'm sure he would listen. It's not like he's completely tuned them out, but it'd be tough to see him go for sure. But that's free agency. So, getting to Judge, because I know, Jordan, you've been following that story.
Yeah.
And we had the little mix-up today where I guess
we thought he went to the Giants.
Right.
And Jordan had a mini heart attack.
Yeah. Well, I was in school. I was really on my phone. I wasn't really on my phone the whole day. Kind of, I was in class, but yeah, I heard I think I forgot who the reporter's name was, but he was like, "Oh, just to the Giants."
John Heyman.
John Heyman, yeah. He tweeted, "Oh, just to the Giants, woohoo!" And then I got a tweet after that. He was like, "Oh, my bad, false alarm."
I bet Yankee fans everywhere were just probably lost it for like 5 minutes or so.
A lot of people want him fired for that. Because, you can't be playing around like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, he's going to lose some credibility. He won't get fired.
Unless that's the nature of being an insider. Sometimes
he could have got some bad info from a good source that's been good for a long time.
But I see two sides to the story because one, we all know that Judge was in Tampa for watching, the Buccaneers play last night, and
it was asked him to play tight end.
Yeah, it was reported.
He's a Tampa Bay Buccaneer now,
right? It was reported that Judge did not like Cashman and the Yankees leaking his contract before the season. So he did voice that. And then also got the false report. So, like I said on my show, on the JTL Sports Talk Show with me and Kyle, Judge earns this right to be a free agent. Mm-hmm. He deserves, to test the waters. But I'm not sure if I'm nervous yet. Because I heard that, just like you said, Kyle, that a decision could be made. I know someone, one of my friends at school, that it's a weird story. His uncle is Cashman for some reason. Like his mom's or sister, I don't know. It's not confusing, but he's tied to the Cashman family. Mm-hmm. And the insider said that a decision could be made earliest by Wednesday night, tomorrow night, into the latest end of the week. So that could be right because things are heating up. And the Giants offered him $360 million for I'm not sure how many years, but now the question is, will the Yankees match that or for a player of that caliber? I would hope so, but I don't know. I'm not scared right now as I was.
I'd be dead scared with a leak like that. I'd be terrified.
The Giants haven't heard anything from him, so I don't know.
Oh man.
But a leak like that shows that they are committed to getting Judge. And then if like what you're saying is correct, that Judge may not feel the best about Cashman. But then again, didn't they just re-sign Cashman?
Like 4 years, I think, or 3 years.
So what if that's a deciding factor to Judge? I don't know.
That's why there's two sides. There's two sides to the story because now the report came out that he was now that kind of can tarnish that kind of because if it was not true, then why would Judge be like, oh wow, I didn't sign no papers, I didn't sign any contract for the Giants? Why are they So it's kind of like it's kind of like two sides. Like one, the Yankees made a mistake.
I don't think Judge is really upset by the leaks or anything like that. Like if he already signed with them, it'd have been like released. If he knows he didn't sign with them, it's just something maybe out of his control. Maybe he didn't tell anybody. Maybe he didn't even think about. Maybe he's not even thinking about signing with those two teams at all per se. Maybe just someone got some bad info because he was in Tampa Bay yesterday. He wasn't like at a Warriors game.
But I did see a post by Nestor Cortez, the Yankees pitcher. And there's a lot of stories to this. Like I saw the Nestor Cortez Instagram post like, "I'm asking for a friend." It was like a cryptic little Instagram post. So I mean, I know they're close. So I mean, he was at the game too because he's from Florida too. So and apparently, and the Yankees training camp facility is in Tampa. So I mean, that's where they play spring ball at. So it's not like maybe he was down there visiting the facility. So people like, I mean,
it's a little early to be worried about spring ball.
No, but I'm saying that's where their facility is.
Because most teams are either based out of Florida or Arizona at this point. So
I mean, I don't know. I mean, I rather trust Jeff Passan on Twitter because he's more reliable. Just like Adrian Wojnarowski, obviously maybe John Heyman or whatever he always trusted, but he can't be doing this, man. Like, caused me have a heart attack, man. Like,
Heyman is an insider.
Yeah, he's an insider, but
I'll give him that. But the same, you just brought up Woj. Woj has had some misses recently as well.
A little bit here and there.
In this day and age, they're just trying to get information from a source, and then they put it out there because with all these people who work on all these networks, everybody likes to be the first one to report it, and that's clearly probably what Heyman was doing because, like you said, he didn't want Passan to get the jump on him.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, you can give him credit for pulling it back and admitting the mistake, but it's just a dangerous way with free agency and trades and all that with reports and rumors. You got to wonder how credible they are and all that kind of stuff.
Really offer him 360. I mean, they're reported that, so we don't know. As outsiders, So.
I wouldn't doubt the numbers being correct.
Yeah.
Because I mean, like I said before, the Giants are one of those organizations where if they want to target a player, they will target him. And I think they're probably trying to play off of the going back home aspect, hoping that maybe they could prime away from the Yankees if the
the way I see it with the Giants is like, like I said in previous podcasts, if they do get Judge, I mean, I want to say they're going to be in a rebuild because I heard they're trying to rebuild around Judge. That means they don't have a solidified roster. Yankees are in a win
Not
now.
Not necessarily either with that.
They re-signed Jock Peterson.
They could just be basing their free agency philosophy around Judge. If they get Judge, then they'll get this guy to fill this position. And if they don't get Judge, then they'll go after this guy to fill whatever they had for Judge. I wouldn't say it's not like the Giants are, the Pirates or something.
Right. But I mean, are they a playoff contender? Because they were in the playoffs last year.
Yeah. Was it like 2 years ago they went over 100 games?
Wait, that was how many years? I mean, how many years prior to that had they gone to the playoffs?
I mean, they went through like a decade stretch or like 20-year stretch. Well, probably like 15-year stretch where it was like every other year they were in the playoffs and contending for a World Series.
Right. I just think that for Judge is family, is personal, is like moving, family, where he wants to be, because obviously he's looking at 8 to 9, maybe 10 years, maybe 8 to 10 year range.
Yeah.
So it's really about longevity, where he wants to go, where he wants to play. What can this roster? I mean, obviously he's played in pinstripes, so he knows that feeling of being in pinstripes. So. I mean, I feel like the ball's in Aaron Judge's court like it should be. But if he wants to win, obviously Yankees have plans to maybe sign Rendon or like a Carrera. But obviously they're either set on Judge, and I feel like to take my bias out of this, like I feel like the Yankees are the right market. Home run friendly field. So is Cisco Park, or that's the name of the park, right? The Giants.
I can't remember. What is the name of their ballpark? But I mean, I know what you're talking about.
But I mean, I guess Giants have a homer friendly ballpark too. But I feel like Yankees are in. Obviously, yeah, you got bounced out of the playoffs last year, but we are like I feel like we're a couple players and a couple pitchers away from me making it a deep run. So, in the playoffs. So, I mean, if Judge wants to stay Yankee, I'll be happy. But I'll respect his decision because he's earned this reason, or he's earned this part of his contract or his his baseball career. So, I mean, I'll be pissed if he leaves, but I understand that he has the right as a free agent to do so, to leave. But I mean, everyone wants him to stay. The Yankees now, if they did offer him $360 million, the Giants, I'm pretty sure that they're going to match that or maybe up that. But I mean, I set the bar to first I set the bar to $350 million. Now $360. So now I'm saying the bar is like maybe $370. And that's just like almost $400. Man, that's just like. It could be a bidding war between the two teams. Like, hey, 360, 370, 370, 380, 390, 400. Like, it can be like.
Well, I mean, yeah, it could be a bidding war. The only issue is there's going to come a point where one of these teams can't go any higher because, So
I'm not sure how much money the Yankees have and as a budget. I'm not sure what the MLB does with like the money and stuff, but the contracts and stuff, like salary cap. But
yeah, I mean, they have. Well, I mean, they have like their threshold and all that kind of stuff, but there's not necessarily a salary cap per se, like NBA and NFL type. But teams also aren't going to go like limitless with their spending and fielding a team because at a certain point the return on investment doesn't really make sense anymore. So for the Yankees and for Judge, well, I guess for Judge first is going to be. All right, so I go back to the Yankees. They sign me 360, 365, whatever. What else are they going to do to improve the team that seemingly can't get past the Astros? How do they fix that? And if he doesn't have faith in Cashman or the Yankees in fixing those issues, that could be a reason to push him to the Giants. Same way if he goes to the Giants, he'll be like, all right, you got me. But there's a team not too far from here in the Dodgers that seems like they kind of run this division and all that. What are your plans on, doing better than them? So it could just be whichever team pitches him the best future plan. Maybe that's who he goes with.
I mean, I'm looking at San Francisco's. I mean, like record. They're 81 and 81 this year. I mean, is that really a competitive roster? I mean, or record? No.
I just told you with the Giants, it's like every other year. It's weird with the Giants.
But see, like does Aaron Judge want to do that? Go to a team that was every other year? I mean, that's the question.
But they've also won the World Series more recently than the Yankees have.
And now they're in a division where Tatis is back next year. They have the Soto. I mean, they got Dodgers. They're so. I mean, other than I see, maybe San Francisco, San Diego, LA. Arizona, I wouldn't be worried about. Colorado, I wouldn't be worried. But I mean, listen, that
with the Yankees, you got to worry about the Blue Jays, the Rays, the Red Sox, and now the Orioles are legit. And you have the Astros sitting there.
Yeah, but
no matter where he goes, there's going to be some type of competition, and like I said, it's just going to be. Which front office does he put more faith in actually building a winner? And then probably added on to that, does he want to live close to home or live where he's called home for the past, 8 years or however long he's been in the league? So it's going to be an interesting thing. Hopefully it ends by the end of the week because I don't think Judge is the type who's going to want to stretch this out for weeks and have people wondering where's he going to go.
I think the very, very latest, like worst case scenario is going to be like before Christmas, sometime if not this week, definitely before the holidays, possibly. I mean, I'm not sure how long the winter meetings are. When they end,
I think they're only like a week. I believe. Yeah.
I'll be very shocked if he doesn't get a deal done before the winter meeting's done. So I'm pretty sure he's going to get that done. Like I said, it's a matter of where he wants at the end of the day, like where he wants to live, settle down at, these are not just baseball questions. These are like lifelong, life career changing, questions. Like, hey, where do you want to live? Where do you want to settle down? Where do you want to play? Like, if they have kids, where do you want their kids to grow up? For these 8+10 years. So, and how can he leave a legacy after that? There, or he's gonna retire and like whatever that jersey he's gonna. I mean, technically not, but he's gonna have his jersey hanging up in the Raptors, like wherever team he ends up. Plus the Yankees, if they decide to longevity for what he's done with the Yankees, but like for this season with the 62 home runs, but yeah, I mean it's just like life questions, like like or not life questions, life decisions, more so. Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see more reports. So I heard Red Sox are in the mix now, but I'm pretty sure they're not gonna get them. So.
I mean, I've never bought into the whole Red Sox part of it. I mean, if you're going to tell me that they are moving on from Bogaerts and they're going to put Judge in that spot, then I'd be like, I guess, but I don't plan on that happening. So I guess final question on Aaron Judge.
Yeah.
With the report and all that came out, where are you thinking that he goes? Like, what percentage? Yankees, Giants. Has it changed for you based off of that report?
For me, yeah.
Or go Dylan. What are you leaning on this one?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. From everything that I'm hearing post this leak is like the Yankees are still kind of in the mix. It's like it doesn't even seem like the Yankees are really kind of there. I don't know. I felt like if he'd re-sign, he probably would have done it by now. I mean,
he's just testing the market, seeing what people have to offer. I mean,
but it seems like the market's only 2 teams.
Yeah, from what I read, it's literally just Giants and Yankees.
That's what I've heard.
I think he's waiting to see how much one team will go, and then he'll sign. But I'm feeling like it's gonna be the Giants. I feel like he's gonna jump ship. I felt like. Oh, he hasn't really been happy in that Yankees organization. I heard he wasn't happy that his like you said earlier, his contract was released. He wasn't happy and he felt disrespected when they offered him $231. He said back in April or something like that. So I don't know. I just feel like maybe he just wants to change the scenery. He's from there, closer to family. It just seems closer and closer to being more believable for me. So I think he'll go to the Giants.
And that's Jordan. Since you are a Yankee fan, I'll pose it to you this way.
Yeah.
So you've always assumed he's going to go back to the Yankees. Do you feel any less likely in that after what happened today, or are you still set on the Yankees?
I'm leaning more towards the Yankees because I feel like whatever the Giants throw at him, they're going to throw right back at him with the contract. So I mean, because that just proves me that the owners and they're willing to keep him at all costs. He's played his whole career there. He basically, I'm not saying he will restart, but he's starting with a new team. I mean, I'm not saying Dylan, I guess he's kind of right where he's unhappy with the contract, but I think he's happy. The teammates, his boy Stanton's there, his Rizzo's there. I mean, so.
He has new boys now in San Francisco.
We'll see.
Steph Curry.
Oh man, that's desperate. But anyway,
Deebo Samuel, chill with a bunch of people out there.
Yeah. But yeah, definitely I see. I mean, me leaning more towards the Yankees, but I don't know.
Has the doubt increased in your mind in any way
about him leaving?
About him returning?
Oh, returning? Not at all.
Okay.
Not at all. Maybe it's a little bit, but just because of that report. But I don't. I mean, since it's not official, Yankees are still in the mix.
Yeah.
It's just hey, Giants maybe have slipped up with this report. So.
I mean, with that, if he was going to be mad at anybody, it'd probably just be Heyman.
Yeah.
Maybe somebody in the Giants front office.
Because the question is why did John Heyman tweet that? Did he know some information that we don't know? He just.
Yeah, those insiders, they all they're connected with every team or at least every market.
Jordan, Coach Dante.
All right, so Dante's on you. He hopes they re-sign him.
I mean, yeah.
Well, I got a question also for you as a Yankee fan.
Go ahead.
What do you think about Stanton? Like from the outside looking in, I feel like Stanton's kind of come up small at times.
He's kind of injury prone too.
Yeah. I was gonna say if he's healthy, he's good. But he's not the Miami Marlins, home run king he was in Miami. And obviously he was younger then. He's older now. I mean, but when healthy, he still has a power bat. He is injury prone, injury bugged, just maybe due to age. But yeah, when he's 100%, maybe 95% healthy, I still take him. So, and that's his boy. I mean, Stanton's his boy, man. I mean, why would he leave Stanton, man? That's like the Twin Towers, man. Like not to be like that's what they call them because they're giants. So,
I mean, what if I don't know? Because like for me, especially when like Red Sox play the Yankees and all that, and like even from this past playoff run, it seems like didn't really see Stanton doing a lot. It seemed like a lot of it was him striking out on like a slider off the outside corner or something like that. Right. So I mean, I don't know, because I know when Stanton was in Miami, like he was like every night highlight on SportsCenter hitting like 500-foot home runs and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, here and there he's still hitting those kind of bombs. I mean, I went to a game last season. He hit, I think, a 3-run homer. Of a blast out of the park. So like he can still. I mean, yeah, you're right. Like every single week you see the highlight, but here and there you'll see highlights of him in like bombers. But yeah, I mean, I think we're in Aaron Judge finding a few couple holes to fix, like a pitcher. We need to solidify our infield, our outfield. I think who we're gonna play. What position? We're just a few pieces away from making a playoff running team.
Okay.
So who knows what dominoes will fall after Aaron Judge signs? So wherever he goes, but Yankees, might get Rondon. The pitcher, starting pitcher, the good pitcher. Correa's out there. Even though he's a Houston Astro, but he's out there, man. So yes, sir.
I get it.
It's gonna be interesting.
I think I saw somewhere like some people think Correa might re-sign in Minnesota. Which
I saw that too.
For some reason I thought that was a little shocking. I don't know. I just don't see Correa in Minnesota, but maybe he just likes it there. But yeah, like you said, winter meetings are still going on. I'm sure we'll get more signings, probably even tonight, but tomorrow for sure. And
please let the Judge signing break now.
Oh yeah,
I said let the Judge signing break now while we're live.
Oh man.
I mean, if people are like this decision could come soon, maybe it does happen. But all right.
I wonder if Judge will make it like an Instagram post or like an Instagram reel of where he goes. Because he's very he's very like private person in a way.
Yeah, I was about to say I wouldn't see him doing anything like that. It'll probably just be your standard breaking news on the bottom line for ESPN. Aaron Judge signing so and so, and then if you were to leave, he'd probably be the one to like put out an ad or something in Yankee paper thanking fans and stuff like that. I don't see him as like going on Instagram Live like, oh, I'm leaving New York, son.
Nothing like that. Maybe like a
doing like a LeBron decision.
Oh yeah, low key. I was thinking that in my head. Like, what if Judge does that? Like, I'm taking my talents to New York, or like,
I'm taking my talents to San Fran.
Yeah.
No, I don't.
I couldn't see that with him. All right. Yeah, I guess we can go. NBA.
But it's interesting to see like the way he came out like at the beginning of the season. Like when a reporter asked him, "Hey, do you see yourself in like?" And he was like, "Hey, I got drafted here. I want to be a Yankee long term." And now, like he's like, he even said
that's the answer he has to give as a current member of the team. Just the same way, if you asked him that now, he'd be like, he'd probably say like, "I would like to go back, but I'm weighing my options."
Right.
In the same way, if he signs in San Francisco and they ask him first day he's there, what do you feel about being in San Francisco? Oh, I want to
be here the
be
rest
a
of my
legend
career.
here. I want to end my career here.
I
My
want to
time
break
in New York was
records.
fun. We know how these athletes answer these questions.
He's like, this is my hometown. Like, I want to make a mark here.
So Kyle, like, where do you see getting? I don't think you answered. Where do you see him going?
I mean, I said from the beginning to look out for the Giants in all of this. I'm probably like 55, 45. Him going back to New York.
So 55 New York, 45?
Yeah, 55% New York, 45% San Francisco. But like with each passing hour, that Giants percentage is going up for sure.
Yeah, Dylan just wants to see me cry, man. He saw me Alabama out of the playoffs. Oh man, I haven't.
Well, I understand where Dylan's coming from though. It's like if it was something where he wanted to be in New York, as soon as the winter meetings happened and he met with the Giants, he could have very easily said, "I'm going back to New York."
I mean,
so the fact that he hasn't said anything means he's probably really considering it. Maybe it's a tough decision for him. I feel like really thinking about it.
I feel like when people were saying that, oh, he went to San Francisco for Thanksgiving, and they had that meeting. I mean, if he wanted to sign with him, he would have signed right there, pen and paper in the office, if he wanted to. So
maybe, but like, let's say like he met with the Yankees first per se, then he met with the Giants. Like, if he saw like a way bigger offer, or the Giants gave him something like maybe the Yankees didn't, he probably wouldn't want to wait and go back to the Yankees and see like, hey, this is what I got. Like, can you match that? No? Yes? Like, let's talk. So it's probably a back and forth thing. I imagine they've had calls. He's had calls with the Giants and then the Yankees and then the Giants again. So I imagine there's a lot going on.
Right. It's always a tougher decision to leave the place that you've known all your career. It's not that difficult to really re-sign because it's like, I've been here. I know what this is like. So that's what I'm saying. Like the decision, I'm sure the Giants is intriguing to him, but New York has been his home. So that's tough. And
it really is tough.
Yeah. That doesn't mean I don't think the Giants aren't legitimate.
You know? It's like you have your job, right? You've been working, 8+10 years in Atlanta, right? And then you decide to go out west to California, or like, to East Coast, or like, New Jersey, New York, and like there's another offer. Well, you have a wife and family and kids, like, obviously you want the money. You're gonna chase the money, but it's like, it's about life decisions. Like, hey, because like, listen, like we're in a world where money is booming right now. So I mean, it's about where you want to go, where you want to land, where you want to settle down. So
I mean, the first move from the team that is always the toughest move. Like once you get past that, if you get traded or move somewhere else, and another option, it's like, I've done this before. But the first move, always the toughest one.
But, I imagine he probably has a fairly good agent who's dealt with something like that before as well, too.
Yeah.
It's like kind of like, hey, this is what you got to do. But in his case, it's better that it's a free agency move than a trade, because like he can plan stuff out like behind the scenes that we don't know. Because like, let's say if he is signing with the Giants, like he could probably already have a house set up, bought, looked at, and the news hasn't even broke yet. He could be moving right now.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Trades are always tougher because you're just uprooting immediately. And depending on your relationship with the team, you may not have even thought about that as a possibility. So we'll see. It's going to be interesting to see. I know the whole baseball world's waiting to see where Judge ends up going. But I think we can switch NBA and see some interesting things in the NBA over the recent weeks. Celtics keep winning. Lakers look like they might be turning their season around. MVP conversations that people are having. Tatum's playing well. Anthony Davis is playing well. We've also seen like Jokic in Denver playing well. So, I mean, the Pelicans as well, kind of sticking up there in the West somewhat. But I guess we'll start with the Lakers. We're going to talk about them to kick off the NBA stuff. I was going to ask this before I get into Am I Tripping, because I want to see what are your thoughts on the Lakers' recent play? You think it's sustainable? What's been the most important factor? Just go ahead with that.
Yeah. So I'm the lone Laker fan in here. I'll go first. Yeah, what I've seen is, I mean, when LeBron was out, AD had to step up. Darvin Ham, before the season started, he said, and I quote, "I want to run the team around AD." So, AD is putting up, incredible numbers on. I think between the Bucks and the Bucks game and the was it the Wizards game or was it?
I think he 55 put up in the Wizards game.
55, so he had like 40 something. So he put like 99 points combined between the Bucks and the Wizards game. So, I mean, I've seen a lot of, with LeBron back in the mix, a lot of, ball movement still, AD controlling the paint. And now I'm seeing Russell. I'm not sure if he started tonight, but I mean, I know he's playing with them. So I see a lot of, even though we're not like a good shooting team, we're a good defensive team, and defense kind of opens up the floor, kind of, for fast breaks, slowing the game down. So yeah, I definitely see. I mean, like I'm seeing right now, they're pushing the pace on offense. So yeah, I'm definitely seeing AD put up numbers. LeBron, back and healthy, putting up numbers as well. I feel like everyone has a swagger now. Like before, like they were all like, kind of like they're like what 5-11, 2-11 or whatever. They were kind of, but they're just like, damn, AD's playing good. Let's play for AD. Like let's feed off that momentum from AD. So, obviously we might need like another shooter to help us out. Maybe like a Miles Turner or a Buddy Hield down the road, but. I mean, AD has, locked down that 5 position so really well right now. So,
okay, yeah. What was I going to say? Well, I mean, yeah, AD has played well at the 5. We know he's not the biggest fan of playing center.
Yeah.
But I'm sure that he probably only really feels that way against certain guys, Embiid or maybe Jokic. You're like big body 5s. He probably doesn't want to deal with that. But how many of those players you really run into in the regular season? And that's why when I've ever heard him say he didn't like playing the 5, I've always wondered, like, there's not that many guys you really have to worry about at the 5 position who pose a physical threat to you that you wouldn't really necessarily want to go up against. And I think their best lineup is probably him at the 5 because he's the best post player the Lakers have, for sure. And I think sometimes when he plays the 4 and they have a traditional big in there, he can drift to the perimeter kind of too much for me because I think mid-post in the post area, he's probably as dangerous as any big man in the game is. Which, gotta say, Freddie, hope you listen since I'm on the hater list, according to Freddie. But, it is what it is. Well, Dylan, what do you think about the Lakers' recent streak? Think they can sustain it? What do you think?
I mean, yeah, this streak started after that horrible loss that came from the Pacers. That won 3 straight against some pretty good opponents. I'd say the Trailblazers are definitely a team to watch out for in the West, and the Bucks obviously a great team, and the Wizards also a team that's not too shabby in the Eastern Conference rankings. Yeah, they've been doing good. They've getting a lot of play out of Anthony Davis, and of course LeBron has been playing I wouldn't say like super well, but he's been doing his part. He's been getting his numbers. He's been doing the LeBron thing. He's playing like LeBron. It's also helped that they gotten play from the bench pieces they do have. Like in one of those games, I'm pretty sure Austin Reeves had like 22. I think in that Wizards game, Lonnie Walker had like 15. So it helps that this team isn't really this Lakers team isn't really looked at as like a lot when it comes to depth wise, but the depth they do have is playing well. Like Russell Westbrook has been playing like pretty well off the bench, I would say. Like, even the times that he does start, he's playing well. He's not like as much of a liability as he was last season. He's doing more than what he was. Like, he wasn't just trying to score and that was it. He's getting his rebounds. He's getting assists. It's like, he's not looked at as like a big scoring option. And I think that's kind of settled to him. So he's kind of doing other things like more, which is nice to see from him. But do I think this lead is sustainable? Maybe. They have some tough games coming up. They're playing the Cavaliers tonight. They're down, like 7 right now? So we'll see how that goes.
They're down 2, actually, 17-19.
Oh, then this just hasn't updated yet. But then they have a game against the Raptors, the 76ers. Those are also going to be 2 tough games that they're going to have to go up against. Raptors is one I think they could get by if they beat the Cavaliers tonight, but the 76ers, it's going to be tough, especially with Harden's return. The Pistons is definitely could go on. They could definitely win that game easily, and then they would have to play like the Celtics, the Nuggets, and then the Wizards again. So, man, I think they could probably get some good wins out of that. I think they could beat the Raptors. They could beat the Pistons, beat the Wizards again. But then you got them some tough games against like the 76ers, the Celtics, the Nuggets. That it's like, oof. Like, you're going to have to play a little bit harder in those games. But they did beat the Bucks. They beat a good Bucks team. So
Thank you, Dylan. We beat the Bucks. So I mean, we can beat anyone.
That doesn't solve everything, but but it's a good
Giannis, man.
Yeah, but you can't use the Bucks win and be like, oh, they'll beat the Raptors.
NBA champ.
No. Like, I'm saying like we can go up the Celtics. So if you can play against Giannis, you can play against anybody. And Milton.
I mean, that's true. Well, it was Middleton's first game back.
Well,
so I wouldn't throw Middleton to the equation yet. But we know the Bucks are a team that's
hit like 22 straight.
Yeah, we know the Bucks are a team that's built off of their depth, and
that's going to be a good game. Tough Celtics and Lakers. I wonder if me and Freya had like a watch party, like kind of a play-by-play of that game. That'd be funny.
I wonder if it's a televised game. It's on Tuesday. It's on Tuesday. It's on a Tuesday, so
should be a televised game.
Yeah, probably
Tuesday at what, 8?
Probably on NBA TV.
It'll be probably on TNT. If anything,
I don't
it's
think
on
TNT
a Tuesday.
Does it?
What game is on right now? What
Cavaliers Celtics or Cavaliers?
What channel? What channel?
Oh,
that's what we'll have it then.
Okay.
I mean, if not, that'll be.
It'll be the late. It'll be the Thursdays. Okay.
It'll be the late game, so there's going to be one more game after that Cavs game going on. So yeah, it'll be the late game.
Now I will say, of course, we're not expecting AD to put up 50 a game.
It's on TNT. It's a 10 o'clock game.
Okay. Yeah.
So it's in LA, I think.
Yeah. But I was just saying, like, of course, we're not expecting AD to put up 55 a night. That'd be crazy. That'd be unrealistic. But looking at the stretch coming up, the Raptors, they're not a big team. I mean, the Celtics just played them last night, and their big man is like Siakam, and then some other kind of random dude who I never saw before. But
it's Boucher?
Mm-hmm.
No, there's like some Koloko dude. I was like, who's this guy?
Oh, Christian Koloko. He's rookie. He's young.
Right. So Davis has experience over him. The Celtics, we know they don't have Robert Williams, but he'll have to go up against Horford, Grant Williams, types like that.
Luke Cornett.
I mean, Luke Cornett, 7 foot, but I would think Davis has a power advantage over him. But I mean, it's going to be a really good game. Hey, Blake Griffin's actually balling now.
Michael, you underscored this.
It's so weird seeing him wear like number 91.
I know.
What are you doing?
It's so weird.
Prison work for you.
I'm guessing, Rodman once wore didn't he wear 99 or something?
You weren't, yeah.
Yeah. Some guys do it, and it's just like, all right, we get
Fair
it.
enough. He's been on enough teams now to where it's like, wear whatever number. Like, at least make your jersey history interesting. Like, you're going to see a lot of, what do you wear? Like, a lot of 23, 32?
Yeah, pretty much.
So it's like now it's going to be like, I guess he did wear a different number at the net. So I guess he's just kind of doing whatever now.
Yeah. I think, what did he wear in Brooklyn? I think he wore a single-digit number.
Like 2?
Something like that.
I don't know. I gotta look up Blake Griffin. I'm the OU fan. I should know this, but I lost track of Blake Griffin's jersey history after the Nets.
Yeah, most people probably did. While you're looking that up, all right, I'll do a couple of Am I tripping? And then we'll move on to NFL. Because like I said at the beginning, we got a lot of college football to talk about. But the first one. Am I tripping to think that there's more to this Trae Young story than they're trying to lead on? I think it's kind of a bigger deal.
Him getting an argument with
Nate McMillan and completely missing, not even showing up to the arena for the game and all that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Well, I didn't know. I didn't read too much into it. I didn't know he didn't show up for the game.
Oh, okay. So I can fill you in on the story real quick.
Yeah. Phil, I kind of like read a report. I didn't even read the whole thing.
So the report is Trae Young was rehabbing his shoulder injury. Nate McMillan walks up to him and goes, "So you're rehabbing your shoulder. You're gonna come to shoot around, playing tonight. What's the plan?" And Trae Young kind of said, "I'm focusing on my shoulder right now. I'm not gonna do shoot around, and I'll let you know if I'm playing in the game tonight later on." Apparently McMillan didn't like that answer. They went back and forth, and McMillan was mad because he was like, "Okay, if you're gonna play tonight, you're going to expect to come off the bench since you're rehabbing your shoulder." Trae Young didn't like that part and was like, "All right, then I'm not playing tonight." And then he didn't show up to the arena and like sit on the bench or anything like that. So that's kind of where it is. And I guess the larger conversation about it is Lloyd Pierce, who was the coach before Nate McMillan, was basically fired because he couldn't get along with Trae Young. Now it looks like he can't get along with Nate McMillan. Is it now an issue where, I don't know, Trae Young being coachable or whatever, or some attitude that he has that maybe needs to be broken? I don't know, but that's what I'm just saying. Is this a bigger deal if you're a Hawks fan? Like, could this be something that
definitely this Hawks team has a lot more attitude to it than it has before. That's for sure. Trae Young's definitely not been one of those players that's like, of course he's kind of been like looked at as a different way, like just because of his play, kind of gets drawn foul calls. Not a lot of people like that. So in the fans' eyes, he's not looked at with a great perception. But in my eyes, I don't think he's ever been one of those players that's really ever had a bad attitude. You've never really heard a lot of bad news about Trae Young going around. He's been in the league for a little bit now, so that says something. I think. I don't know. I don't feel like McMillan really has a control of this team. Like the Hawks are 13-11 right now. So I mean, obviously they're winning games. They're 5th, 6th in the East, which is okay. It's decent. But with that being said, like, I don't know. There's a lot of news coming out about it. John Collins being traded. DeJounte Murray's getting into players for this Trae Young stuff. It's like, doesn't seem like they really have a control or know what they really want to do with this team yet. And like, it doesn't seem like anybody's really locked in because they don't really know what they're going to do with the team yet. And that's kind of like hurting everybody. Trae Young not playing or doing whatever. I mean, if he's not going to shoot arounds, I personally just don't think he should play, period. I don't really get what's the point. If you're not going to at least shoot around, like, I feel like that's hurting you too much. Why play?
Right.
You have DeJounte Murray. I think he'll be just fine. But, I don't like the concept that he just didn't show up not to be with the team or anything like that. That's definitely not something I agree with. Be there for at least your teammates. Watch the game, support them, coach them. You're looked at as the captain, the leader of the team, and not even showing up because you're upset you had to come off the bench because you refused to go to shoot-arounds. Looks a little sad. So, yeah, I don't like that idea, but who knows? Later on, it could just be early season stuff later down the line, like All-Star break. Everyone could be happy, and the Hawks go on a 20-game win streak, so who knows?
Okay. What do you think, Jordan?
20 games, that's a stretch, man. That's like, but I don't know. I feel like I had to read more into it after the show, to get more detail. But just the fact that you said the part where like he didn't sit down with his teammates or anything, like that's. I mean, obviously you are the focal point of the team. You're the point guard. I mean, Kobe Bryant, freaking, like everyone knows he played hurt. I mean, there's no excuse. I mean, shoulder. Yeah, obviously, depending on the severity of the injury to the shoulder, I mean, it could be like a shoulder sprain, a shoulder, bruise. So I feel like Trae could have played. But I don't know. I thought I got to read more into it. But it could be down the road. It could be a lot bigger. Like there could be more issues. Like, what if he hurts an ankle and like he can't play, and then McMillan's like, oh, you have to play. So it could come down to like later on in the season. But like, I want to make a big deal out of it. Yeah, like Dylan said, like you should be a part of your team. Maybe sit on the bench. Shoot, I mean, Kawhi watched the team from the skybox. I mean, when he was hurt. So I mean, you don't really have to be courtside. You can be in the arena or like skybox, but obviously be there to support your team, like because you are like known as a leader on that team. So I mean, Kobe wouldn't do that. I mean, we all know LeBron wouldn't do that. That's what separates the young from the OGs. Like they're I'll say separate the old generation from the new generation. Oh, I can't play because of shoulder. Like, suck it up. Kobe played with a broken finger.
I didn't even realize I'm wearing my Trae Young shirt as we're talking about this. It just kind of hit me that I was wearing that.
Yeah. I mean, I like Trae Young. I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, he's a good player. It's like this story is kind of like, it's like it's not as serious, but it could. It
definitely doesn't put him in a good light. It's like it's not something that you look at it and it's like, oh no, Trae Young's this horrible person. But it's like something you look at and it's like,
it's like
it's not ideal. Like you definitely can handle that a lot.
Like maybe it's like makes you the first strike. I don't know. We'll see.
Makes you look at him like, come on.
Yeah. I mean, it could very easily be something where you question leadership on the team, and maybe it's something where the Hawks could benefit from like a veteran leader to kind of show Trae Young, how to approach a situation like this, how to deal with it the right way. Maybe that's
Patrick Beverly.
Like, are there any OGs on the are there any OGs on the Hawks that can like mentor Trae Young, because they're all young?
We had Lou Will there.
Yeah, they kind of got rid of
like. I mean, Capella's so young. Like,
I don't really think Capella's like vocal. Collins is basically.
So who does he? Like, who could I go to for like that kind of experience? Like, that's the thing. Maybe some coaches. I don't know.
They used to have Gallinari.
OG Dang still there. I mean, Bogdanovich, who knows?
Isn't Bogdan somewhere else?
Yeah, no, that's Bojan.
Yeah, there's two Bogdanoviches. I used to make that mistake all the time.
I honestly
so that's a good question. Like, who can he?
Names.
Like, obviously he's still young, so we're like usually
I'm
like
looking at their point guard. I'm not their point guard, their roster, and I think their oldest players probably like Justin Holiday or like Frank Kaminsky. They have both the Holidays. They have Justin.
I don't even think he's Kaminsky. Yeah, he's not. I mean, how old is he? Like 20, 30, maybe?
He's 29.
I don't know. He's part of that Wisconsin team.
Yeah.
Bogdanovich is the oldest guy on the team at 30, and I wouldn't really look at Bogdanovich as that guy. So that might be something that they have to address. Trade deadline or something.
We need Jarrett Culver to step up.
We need Vince Carter, man.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, Vince Carter filled that role his last couple of years in the league, but
they need like a Udonis Haslem on the team, like someone who can like. I
got into this just with that veteran about Haslem.
Like just that veteran, he's been in the league for like what 15.
He's just getting
10 plus years.
There's so many players that could take that roster spot.
That kind of player,
that's what I said. I don't understand why he's on the roster to do what he's doing.
I don't. That's a waste of
no sense to me.
That's a waste of a roster spot.
And now there could be like so many.
Why not
just put him in the front office?
Yeah,
put him in the front office.
I don't get what they're doing.
Put him as like an assistant coach or something like that.
Yeah, like you can still put him on the bench if you like that. You still can put him in the huddles if you like that. No one's really going to be like, no, get out of there, Jared. Get out of there, Udonis Haslem.
He got manhandled by Tatum on the baseline. Like that was
because now out of the blue they're playing him for some reason, and I because when I saw him enter the game against the Celtics, I was like, "There's no way they're putting this dude in right now."
He's like 40 something, right? Like 45.
He dropped Tatum, like crossed him, drained a three,
and then they try to throw an alley oop to him. He barely jumped for it, and it's like, what are we doing out here? But that's Miami, the whole Miami culture.
What if it's what the Celtics traded for? He does have him. What would you do? He'd be like, no, I'm a Laker fan now.
I mean, if they did that for whatever
I'm just saying, like,
reason,
hypothetically, like, what if they did that? Like,
They're like,
if they did that, I would
we're
just
having
say
some bench problems. Let's get Udonis Haslam
Right.
in here.
keep him at a starting 5.
if
Keep
they
him
do
out.
that, it'll just add to the list of mistakes that they've made over the course of their history. You know,
The only one Haslam was good in his prime, like with him.
That was like 10
10
years
years.
ago.
I get that, but I mean,
He
he's
really
had
a
his time
prime?
in the NBA. Oh my God!
I mean,
Oh man, don't be dissing the man. Like him is for money than you, brother. Not playing anything. So
I mean,
no, man.
not a bad question, you know.
Dylan's like, damn, where's his
I mean,
prime?
I'm just saying,
he had productive years. I don't know if I'd call them prime years. I don't know.
I mean, him, Shaq, Dwayne, like back in the day, that was. I mean, have him. Yeah, he wasn't the starter player to I would pass to, but obviously,
No, back in the day, he was a mid-range. He was a mid-range.
Yeah,
killer
he's about a 10-10 guys. He had like
that's
12-9 one season, 10-8.
But yeah, I've always questioned like these past couple years why they still have him on the roster. They could be adding a lot more talent. I mean, talent than Haslam. I mean, obviously, like I get that they want to keep him on the team for like put that fire in the team. Like if something goes south, that's what the Hawks need. Someone like not a Haslam, but someone like someone who has been in the league like Vince Carter, like decades. Like they can pay like Trey. Like, hey, sit down with them, like be a mentor. But like Dylan said, like their team is like kind of young. So.
They actually had a guy, and then they moved on from him. They had Rondo like 2 years ago.
Didn't they get it?
Yeah. And they got rid of him. I still am not really sure why.
Is he a free agent now, Rondo?
Yeah, Rondo is available for anybody. He's not currently on any team. He's one of those guys like, Melo, DeMarcus Cousins. They're all kind of just sitting out there. And I mean, I don't know.
Last time Udonis Haslam dropped 10 points.
Probably
like 2009.
Maybe I was about to say in the bubble, but I even think around that time he was still not really playing.
He had 8 in 2021. So that's not it.
I mean, he's your prototypical role player. He understands
limitations,
and he.
What was his career? Like, what was his career high? I wonder.
12.
Oh, this is a career high.
Oh, career high for total overall points. I thought you meant like per game, per season. I don't know.
He probably dropped a 20-piece back in the day. Anything higher than that, I'd be shocked.
Yeah. Oh, maybe. He had like some seasons with 12, so he had to have at least one. There's no way.
Yeah. All right.
28.
No way.
This is career high. He did it 2 times.
Okay.
I'll
give him credit for that. I'll give him credit.
Oh, look, I don't know if you put this on the topics, but I know the NBA is kind of cracking down on traveling. How do y'all feel about that?
Love it. As long as they don't go overboard with it. But
like, what do you mean overboard? Like, what do you mean? Like, just calling it?
There's like the obvious travel calls that they just miss, and then sometimes with refs, they'll put an emphasis on something, and then they'll go overboard with it, where it's like it's questionable. It probably wasn't even a travel, but they'll call it a travel, like to make a point out of it.
Right.
So as long as they don't go that extreme, fine. But yeah, we've seen, your Hardens and guys like that, where you're like a fan watching it, you'll be like, that's clearly a travel. But they don't call it. Stuff like that, yes, call those all day. And players will adjust. I mean, they'll complain for the first, few weeks about it, but they'll figure it out. So I'm perfectly fine with it.
Yeah, I'm all for it. I mean, we're taught as kids or when I'm playing basketball, like if you dribble, pick it up, dribble again, it's a double dribble.
Yeah.
If you take more than 3 steps, travel. I mean, the NBA players have gotten away, like Harden, with like 5 steps, like a 5-step step back.
Right. I still don't know how that move is legal, where he does like the step back or like a step back and sidestep thing, and it's like that's got to be something, but they don't call it.
I wonder what Keys actually like on that Harden traveling. Like he's a Sixers fan. I want to hear her perspective on that. That'd be interesting.
I'm sure she's probably fine with it too. because we all know that Harden is like the most egregious one in the league with all that. With Carey, I mean, Carey might be the next thing that comes because some guys are like really bad with that. But travel is a good place to start. I do have another Am I Tripping for you. I don't know if you heard the Cam Reddish Knicks news where they're saying he's like out of the rotation and a lot of people are trying to figure out what's going on. So am I tripping to think that like Cam Reddish has to find a situation like, I don't know, a Golden State or in LA or something like that where, I don't know, because it didn't work in Atlanta. He wasn't playing in Atlanta. He got traded to the Knicks, and people thought maybe he'd get a chance with the Knicks.
Especially
now he's not getting a chance with the Knicks.
So into the Lakers.
But I'm just saying, like, people are going to start wondering, like, is it him behind the scenes where he's not doing stuff in practice, and that's why these coaches don't trust him? Or the coaches that he's just played for, maybe they're not the right guy for him.
You never know. You know, he's only been on 2 teams. I mean, he's played decent in his time. I mean, I was ecstatic getting him as a Hawks fan, and then trading him for Kevin Knox was kind of upsetting.
Right. And Knox has been one of the bigger busts in New York.
He's on the Pistons. We had Knox for a season.
He doesn't even play in Detroit.
Maybe it could be a little bit of something work ethic related, you know. Maybe it could be like the team's asking him to do this and he's kind of not really doing it, or something along those lines, and that's why he's out, or he's not doing specific things, and the team's kind of like, well, we're not going to play you if you're not going to like listen. So it could always be something like that, but it also could just be because teams can't find the right fit for him, you know. He's kind of inconsistent on how he plays. Like, you'll get good play out of him, but then you'll get a lot of bad play out of him just consistently. So it's like maybe finding how they want to use him. It could all depend. It could be something we're not even seeing behind the scenes. Like, maybe he's just horrible at practice, and then it like gives like coaches and stuff hard confidence putting him in the game, and then maybe when he's in the game he does perform. You just never know. It could be a multitude of things. I say trade him if they're not playing him. See if there's any team that was willing to use them and seeing what you could get. Like, honestly, the Lakers wouldn't have to give up much for him, I wouldn't think. I don't think you'd really have to give up much for him. They gave up Kevin Knox for him, so it's not like his trade value is really high. So, like, if you're not going to use him, trade him to a team who might.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I think Friday they said the 80s out with like some flu or something like that. So the rest of the game, so it's no major injury, but they're
saying week over. Cavs winning.
I mean, because at this point, a lot of people probably wanted to tune in to see what kind of numbers AD can put up on each given night, and now to miss out on that tonight.
Yeah, I mean, I think he was playing, but obviously we were on the podcast. I didn't know, but in the group chat they were saying that's what I was thinking too, like a flu game. But.
Yeah. Hey.
I mean, a lot of people are getting sick, so I mean, they're running the time. So,
well, I mean, yeah, it is flu season and all that, so it's not uncommon for someone to come down with that. I'll do one more and then we can move on to NFL. Let's see. Oh, Ben Simmons, everybody's favorite player.
Benjamin Simmons.
Because I watched when the Celtics played the Nets, and they advertised Ben Simmons free T-shirt giveaway, which is actually their game against the Hawks on Friday night. And my question was like, are they even sure he'll be available for that game for his own T-shirt giveaway? Then it just cut to Ben Simmons sitting on the bench, leather jacket, chain going. And it's just like, is this guy ever going to get it? Number one. And number two, I'm sure most people kind of question his desire to play basketball, but if he's not fully into being an NBA player, shouldn't he just kind of do everybody a favor? Maybe just step away. Because stuff like this will just follow him for his career. The minute he sits out a game, it'll be like, oh, here we go with Ben Simmons. And I just don't know if he has the heart to be like a great basketball player. That's just me.
So what was the whole deal there? Had a T-shirt giveaway?
Yeah, they were advertising during the game, which he didn't play in, that it was free Ben Simmons T-shirt giveaway Friday night when they played the Hawks.
Like for the Brooklyn, Nets
the
Brooklyn Net. Okay,
yeah.
All right.
Which I was like, what Net fan would really want that shirt? But it's free. You're not gonna turn down a free T-shirt. But it's like he might get some of them thrown back at him. I don't know.
Who knows? I don't really know what Brooklyn Nets fans really think of Ben Simmons. It's really tough to tell with like they're really like supportive of him. And it seems like the team and stuff is, but it's like really hard on the fans' point of view because it's like you don't really want him to do bad, but they doesn't seem like they really want him on the team. So
Right.
I don't know. He does need a work ethic like really badly, and I'm not sure if that's something you could teach to him at this point, especially since you've given him all this money. He's kind of like, well, if I really don't want to have to try, like I could just like retire, and I'll be set. So
like was he out with an injury or?
Yeah, I had to Google it because I couldn't remember what the injury was. I think it's a calf strain. Yeah,
I don't know.
I mean,
I feel like we can't get away with a podcast without saying his name.
Well, it's only because, like I said, I saw them playing the Nets, and I was like, "Oh yeah, Ben Simmons," and then got me to remembering last year when he missed those games with the Sixers because of a back injury. But it seemed like nobody knew how he hurt his back, and it was just like, "Are we going down this road again with him?"
Yeah,
but because I've always said, if on that Nets team, he doesn't even have a lot of responsibility. He legitimately only has to guard wing players, rebound,
set screen,
grab
it. Ball.
And it seems like he can't even handle that.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm glad he's not on the Celtics because he would have had some issues. But him being on Brooklyn, I'm okay with it as long as he continues to torpedo their season.
Oh man, yo, Kyle is.
I'll just say
it's cynical on the show, man.
Nah, it's just that when Brooklyn put together Kyrie and KD, everybody's like, "Oh, look out, league, here we come!" And it's like it hasn't happened with him. Then it was, to get Ben Simmons. Oh, it's the perfect place for him. Clearly not. And it's just like, seeing Brooklyn struggle again because after, the whole Kevin Garnett and Paul Pierce trade that they made, which they never did anything with that, and the Celtics fleeced them getting, Brown and Tatum with the picks they got back. So it's like, if Brooklyn's not doing well, I'm not sad about it.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's see. All right, let's go to NFL now.
All right.
So usually, like we do, thumbs up, thumbs down to recap the previous week, and then we get into the new week with the picks and all that. So, thumbs up, thumbs down. Well, this one's not even about last week, but I heard this on, I think it was ESPN. And Emmanuel Acho said that out of all the great quarterbacks, Aaron Rodgers has had the least amount of offensive help. So, thumbs up, do you agree with that? Thumbs down, you don't.
I think I'm on like the middle to down because yes, he did have Adams. I mean, he did have
right.
But what else did he have other than Adams?
Well, I think Acho's point was he was looking at Hall of Famers. And I would say Adams looks like a guy who would be a Hall of Famer. So that's one he's had.
But that's really it. I mean, Aaron Jones, maybe. As for running back.
I mean, yeah, you got to think of some of the other players he's made good, like Jordy Nelson, Randall Cobb.
Eddie Lacy when he was fit. But he was
that was an interesting transformation with Eddie Lacy.
Oh man. Because he was.
I don't think that's absurd. I mean, it's not like he's even had great tight end help. I mean, Mercedes Lewis, Robert Tonyan, he hasn't really had great help. I mean, Jared
every time
wasn't he there?
Every time he says it's not good. So I mean,
well, it's like okay. when I think of Packers teams of recent, when I think of great weapons they have. It's like Davante Adams. There's your list.
Like, yeah, I mean, you look
last
at it,
5-10 years.
You don't think?
I mean, of course,
you wouldn't think Randall Cobb, Hall of Famer, probably not. He's had, I think he had Donald Driver for a few years. Don't know if you would think of him as a Hall of Famer. My only thing was, I go thumbs down because there's been other great quarterbacks who haven't necessarily had a bunch of Hall of Famers that they played with, but still somehow found a way to be kind of more successful than Aaron Rodgers. Look at Drew Brees. Would you say he played with a lot of Hall of Famers?
Michael Thomas, he's been injury prone. So
yeah, Michael Thomas hasn't played.
I would say if he was healthy, yeah, Hall of Famer, but
right, but you have to account for that though. So Brees made it work. We never heard people making these excuses for Brees about
call Marquise Colston a Hall of Famer.
I wouldn't know. But keep going down the line. I mean, we all know about Tom Brady.
What about Russell Wilson when he was on the Seahawks? I mean, he had Jermaine Curse.
Doug Baldwin was very underrated. He was almost a 1,000-yard receiver multiple seasons. If he wasn't, he was super close. I mean, them Seattle teams had some nice weapons. Like Sidney Rice wasn't bad when he was there. Golden Tate, young Golden Tate was good. Percy Harvin. Yeah, like we had some weapons there.
Right. But yeah, so Brady, you could probably say Gronk.
Yeah,
but I can guarantee you, Edelman probably doesn't get in because whatever.
He had Randy Moss for a season.
Yeah, but I mean, since that was only like a year or two, I wouldn't really count that because he didn't even win with Randy Moss. When he did win, he had guys like Chris Hogan, Danny Amendola,
Goat.
Edelman. Who am I missing? I mean, he won with guys like Doug Gabriel. Rashae Caldwell.
Belichick likes his short white receivers.
Especially in the slot, yes. Yeah. Although they don't have one now.
That's why they're not winning that way.
Could be. I don't know. My whole thing is like, I don't know. For some reason, a lot of these analysts love making excuses for Aaron Rodgers as to why, they've been telling us his whole career how he's like the most talented quarterback, yet he's only had the one Super Bowl ring. The only one Super Bowl appearance, and it's like they keep coming up with some type of excuse to justify like the injustice that Green Bay's done against it. I'm like, no, the difference is Russell Wilson, Tom Brady, guys like that, I think it's probably a personality thing. They're the type who, you give them a new wide receiver, they're going to work with them until, they're blue in the face because they want it to work. Aaron Rodgers is the type was like, all right, you didn't get me anybody. I'm gonna go host Jeopardy and let's see what you think about that. And then come back and be like, these guys aren't even that good. Yeah, but now Christian Watson all of a sudden is a touchdown machine. And now where it's like, oh, but he doesn't have anybody. And it's like, come on, man.
Fair, but with that being said, Christian Watson has now just been doing good. Even like at the start of the season, he was playing really bad, and everyone was like, "Oh, Rodgers never did anybody."
It's
now that
tough
Watson's
for him to want
to
play well when the minute Rodgers gets in front of a microphone in preseason, he's bashing the wide receivers he has.
I mean, he talked up Lazard. He said it's always great going from Hall of Famer to Hall of Famer, talking about Davante Adams to Lazard. I mean, fair enough, though. That's a pretty good jump from Carr to Rodgers anyway. So.
Yeah. I don't know. I've always felt Rodgers was overrated for how he's portrayed. And I just feel like this season kind of shows why. Like, okay, let's take Jordan's dude, Lamar Jackson. Would you say Lamar's had great wide receivers? No. He somehow finds ways to win games.
Got the legs, though. That's different.
Rodgers has the arm that apparently everybody should have.
Aaron can run outside the pocket. Well, not probably now, but
I guess that's all depending on play style and stuff like that. Lamar Jackson succeeds because Lamar Jackson has a playbook that fits with his talents. Like he has like the stuff he needs to fit in his talent. Like passing the ball is a lot harder because you got to put your trust in another person. Lamar Jackson can run the ball because that's based off Lamar Jackson's just abilities to be able to run the ball and what the scheme they give him. But Aaron Rodgers not being able to be super great because of the receivers they give him. That falls back on the receivers not running the right routes, making the right catch, doing whatever compared to Lamar Jackson running it, I'd say. So I think that's
when it comes to Lamar too, like, I mean, there's some passes where he does kind of overthrow the receivers, but there's some throws where he throws it on target and the receivers still drop the ball. There's some plays where, just like in the Jaguars game, obviously it's a rare thing that happened, but he threw an on-target ball to Andrews, couldn't catch it. Threw an on-target ball to DeMarcus Robinson in the end zone, couldn't catch it. I mean, so it's like Lamar, he hasn't really had a number one receiver. I mean,
but I also get the impression that Lamar's the type that, he shows up to the stadium, the guys that line up out there, he will try to make it work with them.
Right.
Whereas Rodgers shows up and it's like, so you want me to kill myself for this, do that? Nah, I'm good. I just think it's a personality reason why I don't think he's been as successful.
I think that's why. I mean, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I think that's why Adams kind of left.
I think he just has trust issues. I think that's just what it boils down to.
I feel like that's fine in some cases. Like if you want to be tough on a rookie wide receiver because
I think he's not even just rookies. I think he's just tough on anybody that's not what he's used to. Like if you're not someone that's done consistently good for him or someone he knows, it's like he's like, what are you going to do for me? You haven't proved it. It's like, well, let me.
Exactly. But at this point, it's like, who's been consistently good with him? Adams and maybe Cobb. So those are the only two guys in a whole league that you're comfortable with? And
he said Jordy Nelson's a farmer, so he can't get him back.
I mean, yeah, well, I'll give him Jordy Nelson because he and Jordy Nelson did put up some good numbers. But it's just like, for as talented as he's, made out to be, like you have to elevate some of these wide receivers at some point in your career, and at least get to like more NFC title games. Because yes, he gets the benefit of being in a division that's been really inconsistent during his time. You look at the Lions. One of the Lions been consistently good while Rodgers been in Green Bay. Probably never. The Bears have always been up and down since he's been there. And then the Vikings give you a couple of years here.
Good AP years. They've had some good Adrian Peterson years. Like that MVP season.
Right. And then after that, it was kind of down for Minnesota. Yeah. Now they're back being good this year. And look at it. They're running away with that division.
I mean, I can make an argument for like Stafford on the Lions. Like, I mean, all he had was Megatron.
No, he had Megatron. He had Megatron.
I mean, yeah, but I mean,
Megatron is
I'm not. Talent. Yeah, I'm not talking down on. I'm not talking down on Megatron whatsoever. I'm saying like as his one target.
Mm-hmm.
Fair.
Yeah, I mean,
like just like he had Adam.
MLB lottery's on right now. Oh.
The what lottery?
MLB.
Oh. Fine, just looking at the league now, Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes. Those guys have made it kind of work with a multitude of wide receivers. But this year it's Rodgers, he has nobody. Although he probably has the best running back tandem.
But he's the one that didn't he do like 6 picks or like 5 picks one game or whatever, or 3 picks, like against the Lions or something like that.
I mean, that Lions game was just laughable. But
I mean,
that's gonna happen to any
way too. With like people like Mahomes and different players like that, they kind of gave him different things to those players to work with right away. I'm not sure how Rodgers' rosters looked like when he started playing or like that, but if he was just given these consistent guys and he just had these guys for a while, and there's always been a guy that has stepped up, and now they traded him away, and it's just kind of like no one's really taken that spot. He's always kind of had someone there ready for him. Like he's had his Jordy Nelsons, he's had his Randall Cobb, and like even after those weren't really working out, like here comes Davante Adams, like he's ready, he's great now, and it's like because when you look at the emergence of Davante Adams, it wasn't kind of like just like we knew what was going to happen. It was kind of like boom, he's a top receiver now. or at least that's what it felt like to me. Like I kind of felt like you had your core group of receivers. Even back then, it was probably like your Julios, your DeAndre Hopkins, your Odells, different things like that. And then it was just like, boom, DeAndre Hopkins, like him and Aaron Rodgers got something going. So it's like it doesn't really have that because that Adams trade was kind of a little bit surprising, and then Rodgers won and moved. So he hasn't really had as much drama as he's had, and he's never really had his guy just up and traded like that as well too. And then no one to be there for him.
Okay. I can live with that. Let's see. All right. Next, thumbs up, thumbs down. I'm sure you guys have heard by now that the Rams have claimed Baker Mayfield. Thumbs up, you agree with the move by the Rams. Thumbs down, you don't.
Blow it up. Right, I mean, so not even necessarily blow it up. Don't bring back Cooper Kupp for the rest of the season. Let him sit for the rest of the season. Don't bring back Matthew Stafford for the rest. Anybody injured? If Aaron Donald came up to you and he was like, "Hey, I think I want to sit out for the rest of the season," just be like, "Okay, do it. You do your thing, man." There's no point in bringing any of these guys back and risking more injuries. They're not going to be a playoff team. I think they know that. Yeah, I like it. I mean, Baker Mayfield has nothing else to prove. And if he can go out there and win a couple of games, like, hey, you sign him as a backup, or hey, you kind of give him a stage to prove himself. Who knows? Maybe he might do something here. You know, you said the same thing in Carolina, but hey, if he goes out there and wins a couple of games and like actually kind of plays decent, like the Rams can kind of look at that and be like, hey, we're sticking with Stafford still, but like, you know, keep learning the playbook because we'll keep you here as like a backup. And he has a chance to maybe start down the line. You know, Stafford doesn't play well off the injury or whatever the case may be. So I think it's a good opportunity. I mean, they said he might even play Thursday. So like, I don't know. I think Baker Mayfield plays the best when you doubt him. I think Baker Mayfield plays the best when everybody doubts him. I think when you give him a little bit of confidence,
he based his college career off of that.
Yep, I think when you give him a little bit of confidence, that's when he messes up. That's when he does bad. And so this is just one of these times. He was claimed off waivers. You know, he's going to come into a game off a couple days' notice. Wouldn't be surprised. Who are they even playing this Thursday? Like, Raiders. So, like, that's even a better game. So, yeah, I mean, what do you have to lose, you know? If I was Baker, I would go out there and try to do really well. It's not like he has super great receivers or running backs or no line. So it's everything he's used to.
Okay. And then a quick side question to it. Should we look at this claim as maybe some doubts about Stafford? Whether, because I could have sworn I saw some report about it being possibly like a spinal cord thing or something like that.
In a sense,
you
yes.
think maybe they have some doubts that maybe he could retire at the end of the year?
In a sense, yes. But also with that being said, they were 4th on the waiver wire. So it's not like they had to wait like 27th or something like that. And it was like it was the last-ditch offer to get them. They were 4th because they're bad. I think they looked at it. They looked at how Bryce Perkins has played, and maybe they haven't seen something they liked out of him. And they're look at Baker Mayfield and go, you know, first overall pick, former first overall pick. We can get him super cheap. You know, why not take a shot on him? Maybe it could be something more with Stafford, and you want Baker to just come in and he's kind of just shot in the dark to see if he'll do really good and someone you can get on cheap next year. But I'm not sure if it's something too big with it. I think only time will tell. You know, if Baker plays good and then Stafford's like, yeah, I'm not wanting to come back. I got my ring. Like, I'm good. And then both sides win, but you never know. It could just be just as simple as just a tryout for a backup spot. Maybe they don't like Bryce Perkins.
Let's see. Next one. So Garoppolo. Turns out he doesn't necessarily need surgery.
Yeah.
But can they win a Super Bowl with Brock Purdy as their starting quarterback?
I mean, I saw a lot of analysts like discussing this. I think I need to see more of this QB. But I know their defense is, has held up the team. So maybe the defense can cover the quarterback's behind. But I mean, the quarterback's gonna have to. The quarterback is there to make throws and score points. So I mean, we want to see like like a half a game or
right. Yeah.
So of him, so I feel like we need more tape on him. But obviously he got it done. He got the win. Now if we had a subpar backup, I mean, probably would have lost. Like any general that's coming in, like Huntley that came in for Lamar, like there's certain backups that can have that willpower to carry that team to a win when it sort of goes down. But I think a lot of people say like their defense, they're still ranked high in defense. So I mean, I feel like with Bosa and Wagner, I think, or one of his name is the middle linebacker. Not Bobby Wagner, but the other Wagner. Frank Wagner, right?
Yes, I was trying to think of his first name too. Yeah.
Yeah. So
I was just making sure that was his last name.
Yeah, I think that's his last name. But yeah, I mean, I feel like if they can like sustain their defense and at least put up a couple points against other teams, like, well, there's just like 4 or 5 games left in the season, so I mean, maybe. But maybe comes to playoff time. I don't know.
Okay.
Because we only seen a small sample size of quarterback. So, but if they had Trey Lance, it would have been a different story. I feel like they would have had a way more better chance to exceed. But
I feel like it's possible. I think it just matters when it comes to playoff times. I feel like it's really good that you're throwing Brock Purdy into a 49ers offense with tons of weapons, and also they have a top tier defense. So you're giving them a lot of opportunities to play well. It's not necessarily looked like he needs to play like a super great top tier quarterback, because he has a lot of great weapons that will like make up for some of his mistakes. Yeah, George Kittle, like he has stuff to use. Just the playoff time, you never know with that atmosphere. He could get crushed by it hard, and like they have to play a wild card game. Maybe Jimmy can't come back until like an NFC Championship or a divisional round. Well, Brock Purdy's got to play a wild card.
7 to 8 weeks. So that's how long is?
That probably plays him
divisional.
That's like second round in the NFC
divisional.
Playoffs.
Yeah. So it's like, man, if you have to rely on Brock Purdy for your first 2 rounds of the playoffs, like that's a little bit different than relying on Brock Purdy to finish out the season to make the playoffs. So it's
I thought Baker was going to go to the Niners. I
did too, but when I saw the waiver wire priorities, I was like, Texans at 1. I was like, they're not going to pick them. Rams at 4, they'll pick them. And if they don't, the 49ers will get them.
I heard, maybe not a report about Colin Kaepernick, but he's probably done.
I at this point, it's been too many years,
but it's like, damn, he can still not, who knows? I mean, we've seen that, his workouts and stuff. He can still throw the ball.
That's a workout on a high school field is much different than
a question. Would you rather have Purdy? Or would you have Kaepernick as your quarterback?
Probably Purdy. He's played.
I'd take Purdy.
He's played. If we're talking, I'm not saying that by chance Purdy is better than Kaepernick, but he's
just right now. Yeah.
Recent. He has more games, more recent games at least.
He only played like 1 game, right?
Yeah, but with that being said, he was like a 4-year, 5-year player at Iowa State. That is still in the last 3-4 years more games than Colin Kaepernick has played, even if it is college.
Yeah. I would say it's collegiate level, not pro level. I mean, that's different than a different animal.
But yeah, I guess it still doesn't matter. He's still getting some of those dudes he was getting hit at in colleges in the NFL. So,
I mean, I guess, but I mean, Colin has more NFL experience and.
Yeah, but when's the last time he stepped on a field?
Like 2016. That's like 4.
Yeah, he doesn't have more NFL experience in the last 5 years than Brock Purdy does.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That'd be asking a lot to try to bring a guy after all those years back.
It'd be different if the 49ers weren't already a playoff team.
Yeah. Like if the Texans said tomorrow, we signed Colin Kaepernick, we'd be like okay. Yeah, knock the rust off.
If the 49ers
not going anywhere, sure.
If the 49ers were 1-10-1 and didn't have Deebo Samuel, Christian McCaffrey, George Kittle, and their whole entire defense, I'd be like, okay, 49ers signed McCaffrey, that's a good story. But they're just too great to just take a risk like that, because Kaepernick could just be bad. He could just be high school field good now, and like you don't need that in the NFL. It's just too risky.
Or it could take him like 4 weeks before he even looks somewhat like the Kaepernick that we remember. And for a team in San Francisco, you can't waste 4 weeks waiting for that at this point in the season.
You spend draft picks on players.
Yeah. Let's see. All right. So speaking of quarterbacks again, there's a kind of a report about Matt Ryan maybe forcing his way out of Indy. If he were to get released, kind of like a Mayfield thing, should the Niners go after Matt Ryan?
Yeah, actually, I feel like that's. I mean, who else would want to get him? He's not going. Matt Ryan is not going to go anywhere. That's probably not going to be a contender. He's not going to go to. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe the Titans. Maybe the Titans would be like, "We hate you, Ryan Tannehill," but I doubt that. The Broncos won't want him. The only team that would make sense would be the 49ers. Like, I feel like that news came out as soon as he saw the Garoppolo injury, and he was like, "I could go there. Like, I could play there." Like, it's like I can work with them weapons. It definitely beats Michael Pittman and Paris Campbell Jr. and Alex Pierce. That's for sure.
Yeah. I feel like Matt Ryan's days are numbered, man. With like, as far as like retirement. So.
Yeah, I don't think it will happen. I don't think it makes any sense. I think it's a lot of dead cap probably, or whatever the case is. But if he was cut and a team had to get him, the only team that makes sense is the 49ers.
Yeah, because like what I put in the chat, because I did an episode of like my show when the Mayfield stuff was coming out, and I was going through the league, and I was like, there's like only a couple of places. I was one of those who thought was going to be the Niners. And then I threw the Rams out there because I was thinking like, if the Rams don't trust Stafford, maybe comes back next season or could be contemplating retirement, then that's like a sneaky place for him to go. And then I was looking AFC. AFC's kind of set, except for the Ravens, but I was like, it wouldn't make sense for the Ravens if Lamar, doesn't need surgery or anything, and it says like 1 to 3 weeks. It doesn't make any sense, signing a Mayfield there. So that kind of leads into my last one.
The Bears?
I thought about the Bears too, but I was like, meh. If you bring in Mayfield, that kind of sends a message maybe to Fields that, you could be in trouble for your spot. And the fans there who are kind of split on Fields anyway, it could cause too many issues there. So I was like, they shouldn't do it. But, it's the Bears. You never know. So the last one I have before we go to picks, with the injury concern that there was from Lamar Jackson when he first got hurt. And then now that we learned, it's just like a 1 to 3 week injury. I guess it kind of goes with Jordan because, you've talked about the Ravens winning that division or anything. Does this 1 to 3 week window where Lamar may not be available to play, are you worried that now the division could be out of reach?
I'm not as worried because I feel like depending on how well he rests 1 to 3 weeks, he should be healthy for the playoffs. Huntley, he did have a couple mistakes. When he started after Lamar, but he got it done. We play the Steelers. They're kind of like up. They're kind of winning games, but. And then we got the Falcons. Do we have the Falcons? Let me see. How we play?
I believe it's. I think I looked this up before.
Ravens. So we had the Steelers, Browns, Falcons, Steelers, Bengals. So I think they flexed that Steelers game, so I don't think it's 1:00, but. Since it's a division game. But yeah, I don't, or maybe it was a Browns game they flexed to 4:30. But
there's no way they would flex the Steelers game.
I don't know why.
Kenny Pickett. Go.
I don't need that on primetime.
Why?
Jalen Warren, George Pickens, Najee Harris, Deontay Johnson, Pat Freiermuth.
Well, you think the Rams are gonna destroy him?
That's not primetime worthy yet. Maybe next year. Maybe, if Pickett looks really good, then Steelers, Ravens, yeah. Their best bet for a primetime game is going to be the last game of the season with the Bengals. That's clearly going to be a primetime game.
Well, I'm not saying like I'm playing for like maybe like 4:30, not like 8. But I think it's at 1 o'clock though. Still.
Yeah. Normally when they flex games, it's usually to a prime time slot. If they flexed it from 1 to 4:30, it'd probably be like an issue in the stadium or something, and then they had to push it back or something.
Well, the Browns game after the series, the Browns game after the Steelers game is 4:30, so they flex that game, I think.
No, that's because that's when they start doing Saturday games, and 4:30 is a window on Saturday.
Oh yeah, so shit. They play Saturday, damn.
Yeah, last few weeks of the season they do Saturday games and Sunday games, and Monday, all that.
And then we have a Saturday game against the Falcons. So is that? So I mean, would I be able to like watch that game on Saturday?
It's on NFL Network. I'm pretty sure you if it's on NFL Network.
And I think it's on Fox.
It could be. They do weird stuff with the Saturday games. I know sometimes it's on NFL Network. I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I'm not really as worried because I mean, just because of the schedule we have. I mean, hey, it could be what is 1 to 3, but it could be 1 to 2, depending on how But I'd rather not rush him onto the field, like obviously get fully recovered, especially on a contract year. So, like Aaron Judge, like contract year, so.
Do you think how they play in some of these games may force them to rush him back? Like, let's say they lose to Pittsburgh.
Oh,
do you think there might be some, clamoring from the front office?
I'd say
Lamar out there.
I'd say if he lose to the Steelers and back to the Browns, then I'd be like, okay. But if we win both games, then we're fine. Rest them. Then we have the Falcons, and we have the Browns again. Then we have the Bengals. So I mean, no.
So we have Steelers again, then the Bengals.
Yeah, we have Steelers, Browns, Falcons, Steelers, Bengals. Yeah. So.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I remember looking at it before because I was like,
well, I was scared like at first because I thought it was gonna be more serious. Like when I heard like PCL. Well, at first I thought I read ACL. I was like, okay, PCL is all right.
It's still in the knee. It's still the knee, so it's reasonable to be worried with a knee.
But I did notice that like Greg Roman did call like more throwing plays for Huntley than Lamar, so maybe they think that Huntley has a better arm.
They could just be confident with him taking specific types of throws.
I don't know what that throw was. That flea flicker from Prochet to triple coverage. I don't know what kind of play that was.
Calling that play kind of lets you know that, with Hundley, they've probably realized in terms of putting up points might be few and far between. So they tried that play to try to catch him off guard. Now your wide receiver has to understand if there's 4 dudes in the end zone, you don't throw it. You either run it or you just throw it away. I don't know what he was trying to do on that play.
Yeah. I love the play call, but this decision was just the hell of
you have to make sure it's the right wide receiver you do it with. Like if New England calls that, they would do it with Jacoby Myers, who was a college quarterback.
Right.
So if Myers rolls out and sees 4 dudes in the end zone, he's not going to throw it. He'll just tuck it and run it. Now, the Ravens dude, he was like, yo, this is my opportunity to get a touchdown pass, and he just threw it no matter what.
And he did the Kenyan Drake, but he was short. Like, come on, bro. What the hell are you doing, Ravens? Greg Roman, Even
Harbaugh receivers, when they get that one opportunity, they're like, I gotta show what I can do. I mean, it was
even Harbaugh was like, that was a bad play call. Like
just a bad decision.
Hey, Roman's gonna leave and go to Stanford. Roman's leaving to become the next head coach of Stanford.
Get him out of here.
I've also said though, you gotta wonder who Harbaugh hires to replace him. He could hire a guy who's conservative-minded.
Mitch Haniger just signed to the Giants.
Who?
Mitch Haniger just signed to the Giants.
The New York Giants?
What?
San Francisco.
Yeah, Haniger was with the Mariners. The Red Sox are supposedly interested in him. That's
3 years, 43.
Interesting signing. I mean, Haniger, when he's right, he can hit a lot of home runs.
So, what is he? What position does he play?
Outfield.
He's outfield / DH.
Judge.
Yeah, he's just a big hitter, really.
Yeah, they can still go for Judge because Haniger can be a DH. He can be. You can put him in left field.
They're getting the bats. They're getting the bats ready. About to bring some power hitters to San Francisco.
Jesus Christ, man.
But I was just saying that's a move that Judge could look at like, oh, so if he's hitting behind me, I've got protection because Haniger is a dangerous power hitter. I will just see. This, like I said, that could have just been a move to set up. It could be one of two things: to set up their lineup for Judge, or as a contingency plan if they don't think they're going to get him. You can read it both ways, however you want to.
Yeah, we'll see, man. We'll see.
Pirates won the lottery as well.
Wait, Jordan, can you see Dylan? I was about to say, yeah, Dylan, you went black screen on us. All right. I guess while Dylan's trying to get back in here. All right, let's see if this works now. Yep, there you are.
Okay, cool.
All right, so I guess go to picks because, like I said,
it says Judge is on the way to winter meetings. It appears this saga has taken place while Judge has been in the air from Tampa, where the Stein, and Judge and possible arson George are nearing arrival into San Diego. Is that where the meetings are?
I'm assuming.
So
it'd be kind of random for him to just go to San Diego all of a sudden.
Yeah.
Okay. That's probably a sign that a decision's coming, that he's showing up there.
Pirates won the lottery.
I feel like they win the lottery all the time.
Fair enough. More pieces for O'Neal Cruz. More pieces for O'Neal Cruz.
I mean, O'Neal Cruz is, what's he, like 6? How tall is he?
He's tall, but he can hit the baseball super hard.
It's just so weird seeing a guy that tall playing shortstop, though.
Man, he hits that baseball hard.
Yeah, he does.
Right,
he's going to be an interesting guy to see, how his career plays out.
Oh, yeah. It's going to be weird since he's on the Pirates. So,
yeah. All right, let's get into some picks so we can get into some college football. So Thursday night, Niners, Seahawks. I mean, you got to say, pretty good Thursday night game.
I think you're a week ahead.
Oh, yeah, I'm a week ahead. Crap.
I was about to say, we got the Panthers this week.
I was going to say, because when I said it, I was like, wait, Dylan said it was like Rams, Raiders.
Yeah, I was like,
I jumped ahead. Wrong? All right, so people, there you go. Next Thursday, really good game. All right, so not tonight, this week. Raiders, Rams. Raiders are 5-7. Rams 3-9. We don't have to go too much into this game, but who do you guys have?
I have the Raiders. I mean, Adam's gonna have another big game.
Okay.
I think he's gonna get burned by Adams, Ramsey. So
just for the funds, being the OU guy, I'm gonna go the Rams, going the Baker Mayfield. If Baker Mayfield starts, I'll pick the Raiders. If Baker Mayfield doesn't start, just for funsies, just to see.
Okay. I like the Raiders in this one. I don't think the Rams really want to win many games at this point.
They don't have it
but
picked,
if Mayfield does start, I think that would be interesting. Yeah, they don't have it. That's the weird thing with the Rams too. They have like no picks.
Nope.
So how do they get better?
Baker Mayfield.
Tanking.
Baker Mayfield.
The Rams.
That's it.
For other franchises,
he'll find
look at the Rams. How not to run a franchise.
So how does that affect like Donald and and Cooper Kupp in the future? Do they want to stay with the Rams because of that?
Kupp still hurt.
Oh, Kupp signed a big deal. He has to now.
Donald contemplated retirement last year. I'm assuming with him it's going to be year to year based on how he feels. He could easily retire at the end of this year.
How old is he? He looked like he was young.
Nah, he's
but I'm just saying, he thought about it last year.
Yeah,
once you start thinking about it, yeah. Sunday night, not a bad one. Dolphins, Chargers. Dolphins 8-4. Chargers 6-6.
Dolphins are 6-6. Damn.
No, Chargers. 6-6. Dolphins are 8-4. Who you guys got?
I'm gonna go the Dolphins in this one. They had a tough game against the 49ers. I felt pretty confident in this Dolphins team. The Chargers, this is probably a must-win for the Chargers. I just don't think they get it. It's at home, so it makes me want to kind of change my mind a little bit and maybe pick the Chargers in an upset, but I don't really want to pick this Dolphins offense to lose 2 games in a row, so I'm just going to pick the Dolphins in this one.
All right. Jordan, you going Dolphins or Chargers?
I'll go Dolphins.
I got the Dolphins as well. Chargers.
So who you have in the Raiders game, Kyle? Raiders.
Yeah, the Raiders.
Okay.
But that Dolphins Chargers game could be a really, really good one.
Yeah. Is that Sunday night or Monday night?
Yeah, Sunday night. Monday night we get Patriots Cardinals. Patriots 6-6, Cardinals 4-8. Get to see Kyler Murray and whatever the Cardinals, whichever Cardinals team you get.
Jones. I mean, the Mac Jones. I don't know. I can see that might be my upset. I don't know because the way obviously, okay, the Patriots played the Bills, but just the way that Mac Jones. I mean, yeah, he had a good game, but it's like a lot of 3 and outs that I've seen. Every time I've seen him on TV, he was going to the bench.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry, I don't want to hate your team right now, but I be my upset. I mean, it's because they got Hopkins back. So that can be a factor. James Conner, stepping up. So yeah, I mean, even though Kyler Murray, I mean, I feel like it can really definitely upset them. So I want to be surprised.
Who you got, Dylan?
I'm taking the Cardinals in this one. Basically, I just was looking at it, and this is kind of a tough one for me to take because you don't know what version of the Cardinals you're going to get. Don't know what version of the Patriots you're going to get. Like, you're probably going to get a good defense, but are you going to get a decent looking offense? Who knows? I'm just picking the main reason I'm picking the Cardinals is I'm picking the home team. If it was a home game for the Patriots, I'd pick the Patriots in this one.
All right. I'll go Patriots, and I'll tell you why.
Oh, yeah.
I think Mac Jones has been playing better. He kind of took a step back against the Bills. I have a sneaky suspicion that we all saw the clip where Mac Jones got frustrated and was like, stop running the ball. It's not working. I could see him putting up a really big passing game in this game because I think now there's going to be a lot of eyeballs on Patricia in terms of play calling. Because where they got kind of in trouble with the Bills, there was a lot of run first down, run second down, try to throw on third down, and Buffalo kind of caught on to the pattern. I think we see kind of like the offense we saw against the Vikings against the Cardinals, and I think the Patriots get the win. But I do understand the doubts of the Patriots because, trust me, I had the same doubts, and I predicted them to be like a 8-win team before the season, so they're kind of on par with what I thought about them. All right, so now locks and upsets. Start with you, Jordan. Who you got?
I'm gonna lean towards two potential locks. One would be the Cowboys against the Texans, but then I had one game where I had well, actually no, that would be an upset. Actually, they had the Detroit favorite against the Vikings by 2.5. So actually, yeah, that'd be my upset. The Vikings over the Lions. I can see why they had the Lions because obviously I think they're at home, and then they are trying to put up a fight.
They're playing better.
Yeah. But I definitely, he's going to guard Jefferson.
Okay.
So
you got Vikings and the Cowboys.
So I have Cowboys for my lock because they're playing the 1-10 and 1. Texans and then
Vikings over. Okay.
Yeah.
No bad. All right, Dylan.
Pittsburgh is a favorite against the Ravens? Wow.
No Lamar.
Yeah, no Lamar. That's why.
My lock for the week. I won't pick the Cowboys since the Cowboys were picked. Probably say the Eagles over the Giants.
Okay.
Yeah, I've been very confident on the Eagles losing out the Giants losing out this season. So just makes it easier that way if I go on with the Eagles. They didn't. They tied last week, which was upsetting, but it helped my Seahawks out because we took the Commander spot in the playoffs. So we're the 6th seed now. And then my upset of the week, I wanted to pick the Buccaneers over the 49ers, and I do a lot. But with Seattle playing them next week, the 49ers, that is, I don't really want to because, I don't know. I just feel like pattern-wise, it'd be good for the 49ers to win this week and then Seattle upset them in prime time. So I'm going to avoid picking it, and then I'm going to go, what is this, upset? I don't want to pick the Vikings because I feel like the Vikings should be the favorite in that game. Dang. Upset. Man. I'll just go with, I guess I'll have to go with the Buccaneers over the 49ers. It's the only thing that I look at, and I'm like, I can see this upset happening. So I guess I'll go with the Buccaneers.
All right. All right, so for me, my luck. I'm not even confident in this one, but I'm going to go the Titans over the Jags. I know the Jags have been playing a little bit better lately, but I got a feeling that we'll probably see a Derrick Henry heavy, low scoring, time of possession type of game. And I feel like the Titans probably better built for that than the Jaguars are right now.
I was thinking about that too, that for my lock, but
I mean, it's not the strongest lock to go with, but
yeah,
I'm gonna go with that one. Then an upset. What can I even think about here? I'm not confident Jets Bills because it's in Buffalo. I'm not going to go Browns over the Bengals. I'm not that crazy. I'm not picking the Broncos. I've already sworn off of them. This is tough. I'm not picking the Giants either. All right. I'm going to go Steelers over the Ravens. And why?
Wait for your upset. No, they're the favorite.
Oh, crap, they are.
Yeah, they are.
I was reading that. Oh, man.
So, Ravens, Steelers?
No, I already picked my locks. So I got to pick another upset. I mean, I had a good reason for that one.
Why Lamar Jackson's out. I know.
Then TJ Watt. All that good stuff. All right.
Jalen.
I'm gonna go Jets over the Bills. I've talked myself into a way that it could happen.
They almost beat the Vikings.
True.
That's a good pick.
Playing the Bills in Buffalo, different animal.
Well, didn't they just beat the Bills, or am I tripping?
No, you're not tripping. But that was in New York. Now you're in Orchard Park with that fan base. But I do think defense carries, So I feel like the Jets could potentially give Josh Allen some trouble. We've seen the Mike White experience be somewhat positive so far. Now, even as I describe this, I don't really believe it, but I'm just going to go with Jets over the Bills just because I need an upset. Maybe because of kind of help out New England a little bit. I'll go Bills. I don't know. I'll just go Jets, Bills. I'll probably be wrong, but hey. I usually go out on a limb with my upset, so I'll just stick with that one. All right. So, to close out the show, we'll do the college football. We don't talk about the bowl season and stuff like that because we can say that for next week. So we're going to talk about the playoff, Heisman. And I wanted to throw in, before we get into those, have you guys seen the whole Deion Sanders situation?
Colorado thing?
Yeah. But now Jackson State is hating on him for leaving, and a lot of their fans and all that.
Oh, well. He said it. I think he said it best. I think he says in college, in this type of profession, you either get promoted or demoted. And I feel like
if he stayed, a perfect line.
Yeah, I feel like if he stayed at Jackson State, if he wanted to have an actual legacy as a coach, it's not going to be just staying at Jackson State the whole time. Sorry to hear that. And I don't like that saying that as well too, because it'd be cool if he just created just his whole legacy there. But with that being said, he was bound for D1. You can't keep a personality like Deion Sanders, especially in coaching, just stuck to not D1. So him being at a Power 5 school was bound to happen. Sorry. I mean, some of his players are going to come with him. Like he said, he's bringing his own luggage, and it's Louis.
His son's already gone because he did his press conference, said, "Here's your quarterback." So
that quote, I think the media, the Instagram kind of pulled that quote, where he was I think the quote we're dealing was oh, y'all can hit the transfer portal. Well, I mean, that's not what you say to your current player. It's like, damn, like, obviously that means, if you.
He was kind of saying because he knows.
I don't hate anything he said in his speech at all. I don't have any sort of hate.
I'm not saying I hate on it, but it's like, what if you were in that room and he said that? Like,
well, he kind of let them know that Jackson State guys are going to travel with him, and if you feel uncomfortable about your position, like as a starter, jump into the transfer portal now, because we're starting to see some names like Clemson's quarterback DJ. He's in the transfer portal. I mean, the BC quarterback Jerkovich is out there. So players are starting to fill up in the transfer portal. So he's like, hey, get a fresh start now. Go ahead, because trust me, guys are coming. I'm going to get top recruits in here. He got Travis Hunter to go to Jackson State when he's supposed to go to Florida State.
He's probably going to transfer to Colorado.
Yeah. So he's letting them know, because it would have been messed up if he didn't say that. Bunch of Jackson State guys come in, and now they're like, what about us, coach? He's like, hey, I know what they can do. I don't know what you can do. You on your own now.
So it's kind of like a message for them to like, hey, if you here, you better step up your game. If not,
like if you want to stick around, just know competition's coming. If
but
you want to go,
another thing is like I saw a thing where like, oh, do you have money? I think he asked the commissioner, like the state athletic, or not state, school athletic director was like, hey, do you have enough money? He was like, no, we don't. But
that in college football, that is not a problem. Make one phone call to some boosters or something, they'll get the money.
You got Deion Sanders there.
Yeah, they will find ways to get the money. They'll do a GoFundMe page to get the money.
The Dallas Cowboys will give him money.
Yeah.
Russell
Wilson might give him money.
No.
No, they'll be fine. I know a lot of people talk about how Colorado's not like a great job, but the same way, the kind of transformation he did at Jackson State, he could easily do that at Colorado. He's going to have more resources.
Agreed.
I'm pretty sure he'll recruit California well, which is a hotbed for talent. He already has ties to like Florida. He can get guys out of there, so he'll do fine at Colorado.
Agreed. I think in most situations, if you look at any other coach to coach this Colorado team, you'd be like, oh man, this is not a good job. But you have someone like Deion Sanders who can bring something that this Colorado team would lack with any other coach in there is talent. Like, if you're not a big name, you're not going to bring talent in there. Like, you could throw any other one of these coaching carousel coaches on this Colorado team. They're not going to do anything that Deion Sanders is, regardless if they're actually better coaches or not, is because like Sanders can bring talent. He can bring people that want to play because people want to play with him. Right. So it's way different. It's any job Deion Sanders would have went to would have been it would have instantly been an appealing place to go to right then and there. He could have went to South Florida like he almost did, and that job would have been super appealing right away. I think it was smart to go to the Power 5 though, and I think it was smart to go to the Pac-12 as well. So I think he's doing great things. I think this Colorado team's going to be good. My grandpa's a Colorado fan, so I'm excited.
Yeah. Hey, who knows? With all this conference realignment type stuff, Colorado now looks more appealing to a Big 12 or Big 10. So, interesting to see what goes on there. So the college football playoff, we know it's Georgia 1, Michigan 2, TCU 3, Ohio State 4. Yep. Did they get it right to start with?
Yep. Simple. I've been pretty adamant on it. I said that was my order before they announced it, and I was like, they messed up if that's not the order. It was the correct order, so I'm happy.
Yeah, I agree it was right. I feel like it was the easiest 4 to go with, and the committee didn't try to complicate things.
I'm sorry, Jordan, but the only people upset really about this is Alabama fans.
Yeah.
Like, they all had their case to get in, but like anybody who is not an Alabama fan and just a fan of any other college football team, they're like, that's probably what should have happened.
Now, I thought Alabama was going to overtake Ohio State just because of that loss to Michigan, but then the commissioner of like the board was like, okay, well, that was a factor, but then again, the game was close in the fourth quarter, but they still got bumped by like 22. So
he basically let it be known that he wasn't going to penalize Ohio State for their first loss to be the last game against an undefeated number 2 team in the country. That's a better loss than anything Alabama has.
Who also will get the conference championship bid if they won this one game. Yeah. It's not like you're a Purdue and you can lose 5 and you still get in.
Yeah.
That's all right. Bama will be in there next year. Don't worry about it.
Probably.
Yeah, probably.
Have fun playing Kansas State, though.
Depending on if Bama brings back or if Bryce Young comes back or he declares for the draft.
He won't. He's going for the draft. First overall pick, Houston Texans.
I feel bad for him.
Going to make big money.
No, I'm saying
starting quarterback.
Big money on a trash team.
Houston's not even like that bad. It's just that their quarterback position's a mess. If he goes there, he's going to get Dameon Pierce. A lot of quarterbacks would kill to have that guy as your running back. Wide receivers, you can find those guys, whether it's free agency or later in the draft.
Yeah.
Defensively,
But he might return just because, they missed. He was hurt. He was hurt a couple games.
He will not return.
No. I think I saw a report saying that, like, depending on where they are, he might
declare. Every year, there's a report they might come back. But once they hear the agents telling them how much they could get, the signing bonuses the NFL can offer him, everything like that, he's gone. The endorsements gone.
Because let's see, he's been there. Has he won a national title?
No.
Now, could Nick Saban convince him to come back to win a national title? At the risk of being the number 1 pick, but he comes back. You never know.
The only way I think he'll come back is if Will Anderson comes back. Like, if everybody on that team is kind of like, let's run it back. Like, maybe. But that's the only way it would happen. Yeah. If one big piece is going to go, Bryce Young's going to be like, ooh, I'm just going to go too. That's just what happens at Bama, sadly. He already waved goodbye to the fans in our last home game.
But knowing that Ohio State's receiver not going to play, Georgia's going to destroy them.
Maybe.
I
mean, Ohio State has talent, too.
They do. But that's not a game that people want to see. They want to see Alabama and Georgia.
No, they don't.
I don't.
They are tired of that matchup.
I'm
especially
tired of it.
This
I'd
current
rather see
setup.
Georgia, Ohio State.
Yeah. If it's a 12-team playoff and that matchup happens, fine. But the current 4-team,
no,
because it would have looked like they forced Alabama in, which people would have been like, "What a joke!" And then it's like, so wait, our opening matchup is Georgia Alabama again? No, they didn't want that.
We've seen it too much.
Yeah,
and they didn't want to see Ohio State Michigan in the committee. They didn't want to see that either. So that's why they.
Nah, I heard that they didn't care about it, but they did. They didn't want to do that as their opening matchup.
But that's understandable. And you can make the argument if you're going to put Ohio State in. Was it justified to jump them over TCU?
They should.
Fair.
They should do
especially when TCU's loss was a conference championship.
Yeah. They should did a game against Ohio State and Bama and see who gets in for the 4th spot.
No.
Nope. You'll have a 12-team playoff now. I don't like their format. Like Utah would have got the bye week. I don't like that. The highest ranked conference champions get bye weeks. Like I get it. That's fair. I do as well, but
because they want to emphasize conference championships, and it might be a way to force Notre Dame to finally commit to some conference.
Or just go to the ACC.
Because this whole thing with Notre Dame, like holding everybody hostage, like we'll just stay independent because we're making money. Oh, but ACC, can we get some games out of you? Hey, Big Ten, can we get? It's like just pick one. I mean, all your other sports are in the ACC. Just do it, or I don't get this whole thing with Notre Dame. So hopefully, I mean, unless Notre Dame doesn't care about the bye in the playoffs and they just want to stay independent, that's their choice. But the emphasis on that, I think, was a good provision to make it so that if you win your conference, you should feel good about that and know you can get a bye in the playoff. I have no problem with that. But yeah, I saw what the 12-team playoff would have looked like if they had it this year. I mean, Tulane would have gotten in. That would have been a great story. Even though if they would got, if they had lost in the first round, who cares? State. Yeah, it probably would have been a bloodbath. But it's like, hey, at least we're seeing the little guy Tulane get a chance, and that's all I care about. yeah, so we talk about playoff. We all agree with it. Well, Jordan doesn't, but Bama will be all right, hopefully. Because I mean, the rest of college football, maybe they're catching up to Bama. I heard somebody throw that out there, like has the rest of college football caught up to Bama, and I'm like, certain programs maybe, but on the whole,
I don't know.
No.
I don't know how long I feel like Georgia's going to be like this. I don't know. I feel like they're always going to be defensive juggernauts, but on the offensive end, they're never really like big.
Yeah, once Bennett leaves, he's going to be their quarterback. Who knows?
When they named Bennett the quarterback, I didn't think Bennett was that gifted as a quarterback.
The mailman.
Yeah, if you're winning with Bennett, they can find other guys who can do what Bennett could do or be a little better. That's no problem. But just looking at the SEC, do you have faith in LSU for the future, or Ole Miss, or Mississippi State?
Maybe LSU. Keyshawn Bouillette returned.
Mm-hmm.
He said he's not going to the draft, so
that's probably LSU's probably maybe the biggest threat, but I would still say Alabama's probably better set up than LSU right now. I mean, A&M was supposed to be that team, but they took major steps back this year.
Right.
Yeah, but then the Heisman. We can end with Heisman talk. Let me get the list real quick to make sure.
I got it.
Well, it was Bennett.
So it's gonna be Caleb Williams, Max Duggar, C.J. Stroud, Stenson Bennett, and then is that it? Is that 4?
Yeah,
I can't find the 5th one. There's 5.
Oh, there is. Okay.
I think it's Blake Corum, but
I thought it was 4.
Yeah, for some reason I thought it was just 4.
Oh, it could be just 4, and I'm reading it wrong.
So
I thought it was Caleb Williams, Duggar, Bennett, and then
yeah, it is. It is those 4. I'm reading the NCAA's website right now. Okay.
Initial thoughts on that 4.
I think it's probably the best 4. I know a lot of people won't agree with that. I know, Jordan, you're upset about Bryce Young not being in there. But
I thought he was. He had other than him being hurt, he put up numbers. Despite the playoff seeding, whatever. But
so the question would be, looking at the 4 that's there, who does Young have an argument against?
Bennett. I saw his side-by-side numbers.
But it's hard not having a guy in the number 1 team in the country be a finalist. Probably. That's probably the thinking there.
What is the Heisman based off of playoff seeding and stats, or just stats throughout the season?
Well, I'm just thinking if you think of Georgia, you thinking of how dominant they've been. You look at Stetson Bennett.
I'd say who was the 4th one? It was Caleb Williams.
I don't think there was any shot Caleb Williams wasn't going to be there. He had a special year at USC. Yeah. Duggan at TCU, no. And then Stroud at Ohio State. You could make an argument for Corum out of Michigan.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he was there.
Bryce had 3,000.
I'm pretty sure he was 5th.
Bryce had 3,000 something passing yards.
I'm sorry. Bryce Young was good, but I wouldn't even put Bryce Young over Hendon Hooker. Hendon Hooker had more yards. He had a better TD to INT ratio. Bryce Young was good. Him playing for the whole season definitely would have been in the top 5. He didn't. Probably could even have won if he maybe had played, but he didn't. Him not playing kind of just hurt his numbers. So I don't even think
he only missed 1 game, right?
1 or 2. But even then, that still does a lot.
How many passing yards did you say that Young had?
3,007.
Yeah.
Okay. Bennett was 3,400.
Yeah.
How many touchdowns for Young?
Touchdowns?
27.
Okay. Bennett had 20. Interceptions?
5.
Interceptions, Bryce had 5.
Bennett had 6, and then QBR.
QBR, he total
I know Bennett's was 83 or 86.3.
50. Bryce Young 56, 156.5. 156.5 for QBR.
Yeah, that's quarterback rating. I'm talking about just QBR.
I don't think it shows that on
yeah, because Bennett's rating was 154.6.
Yeah.
Oh, his QBR was 83.7.
Okay, so Bennett beats him there. I mean, so if you look at their numbers, like they're pretty comparable.
Stetson had 7 rushing.
How many TDs did Stetson have? It's like touchdowns.
20 touchdowns.
Oh, Bryce had 27.
I mean, yardage.
He wasn't the first overall
similar. Seed. Interception similar. Bennett's better.
Yeah, is that what is that how it separates the?
No, but it also it's a nice looking factor though. Your team being first overall after coming off a national championship, it looks a little nice.
I mean, it probably would have been more egregious if the Bulldogs didn't have any representation in the Heisman race. Yeah, we know that they love giving it to quarterbacks, so Bennett was the guy. I mean, the Heisman's always going to be like that when you only pick 4 guys. It's
Caleb Williams Awards, basically. It's Caleb Williams Award. He's got it locked in the bag. He has 7 more touchdowns than someone like Duggan. I mean, even with someone like C.J. Stroud, they have the same touchdowns. But again, Caleb Williams has 700 more yards and 10 more rushing touchdowns. It's Caleb Williams. It should be his to lose. Mm-hmm. I don't imagine they would give it to anybody else not named him, in my opinion.
You think Duggan's performance in the Big 12 might sway some people since, recency bias type?
Maybe. They could, especially with them making the playoffs and USC not. I feel like Duggan probably has the best chances. I don't think Bennett has some great chances. And I think Stroud is interesting, but you can't give it to Stroud over Caleb Williams just because the stats side by side. Both of them didn't win their conference championship. Caleb Williams still made his. So if anyone's going to take it from Caleb Williams, it's going to be Max Duggan.
Okay. That's kind of what I'm thinking. Because, I mean, that Duggan Big 12 performance was pretty good. And with the
especially with them making
the
playoffs, too.
Yeah. All right.
Is it Duggan or Duggar? I think
it's Duggan.
It's Duggan. You're thinking of Kyle Duggar.
That's the TCU quarterback, right? Duggan?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh. Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
Let's see. Yeah, I mean, that's all I had, unless you guys have anything else you really want to talk about before we get out of here.
I mean, Lakers are, tied. I mean, with 80 out, I mean, they're doing a good job against the Cavaliers. 87, and now 88, 87. Mm-hmm. Also got to made a free throws to put them up 1. I mean, they're, like Freddie said in the group chat, we're doing better than we expected when 80's out. So we're kind of holding the fort.
Freddie was going to say that no matter what.
No,
Freddie was going to put that no matter what. They could have been down.
When 80 was out, I mean, they have Allen, Donovan, Garland. I mean, it should have been the blowout. Not blowout, but at least,
It's really, I mean, unless one of the teams is, trash, it's really hard to, blow out teams.
Yeah.
But.
Well, I guess, they should have been, I guess they expected for them to put up more points since that paint is kind of with 80 out, They got Allen, so I mean, we're doing good right now. So LeBron's getting bored. But I mean, other than that, it was a good show. I mean, good topics.
Yeah, and like I said, next week we can talk more about the bowl games and all that. I still have to do that.
Bowl Mania. Yeah, there's a lot. There's 40 bowl games. I think I did a good job predicting them though. I was like, this is what the Rose Bowl is. This is what this is. I was pretty open. Kansas is playing Alabama off rip. That's what's happening. Sorry, and that's what happened. So it's cool.
Yeah. Take a look at that. But yeah, like I said, we'll dive into all that. It's 40 bowl games. It's a lot, but
it's a lot.
Yeah, man. I kind of just
we'll focus on the good ones. Some of them
40 bowl games.
Yeah,
they had to do that to give schools a reason to play their season. If it was only a playoff, a lot of these colleges would be like, "What's the point of all this?" Yeah. At least the kids get free stuff. If I was playing and I went to the PlayStation Bowl, I'd be like, "Sign me up."
Yeah, everyone's getting a free PlayStation. Okay.
Some of the gifts aren't bad. Some of them, it's yeah, okay, that's cool and all, but
plus the TV exposure is good. A lot of people watch the bowl games.
Yeah.
Well, it seems like less and less each year, but yeah, people still do.
Because no one cares about like the whatever bowl. Like no one cares about that. Like
the Hawaiian something bowl or something like that.
Like it sucks for the lesser teams because of course like their fan bases are going to watch the team, but when you have two lesser teams facing against each other, like your fan base is already so small, so it's like you're adding it together for a bowl game.
The ratings are never going to be good.
Yeah, that's true.
Anyway, well, I mean, Dylan, you got anything before we get out of here?
Nope, I actually got to hurry up and get out of here. Got to pick up the girl from work. So.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Well.
Yeah. Well. Yeah, fellas, it's been a good show. Hopefully, we'll see if Aaron Judge, by the time our next podcast, if he's one of Yankees or Giants.
He better sign by our next show. Come on.
Oh man, that'll be some.
But yeah, so shout out to the chat, and Dante had a couple comments in there. Other people who tuned in, appreciate that. Appreciate the love. But yeah, so it's another show in the book for Jordan and Dylan and myself. Appreciate it, guys. Have a great night, and we'll be back here again next Tuesday.
See you guys later.